Everybody that's got the tablet, have you marked that you're here? That has them?
I didn't see it.
This is have a form one absent.
one present and one absent. Next is number 5, approval of the agenda. We have a motion by Commissioner Patton and a second by Commissioner Ferguson. All in favor, say aye. Anything opposed?
We have to vote through the same.
Roll call, please.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward,
Yes.
yes. Darrell Hicks, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier.
Yes.
Norman Frazier, yes. Gary Farr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Okay. Phil Melton, yes. Angie Hearn.
Yes.
Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plank, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes.
Yes.
Rocky Preston. Rocky Preston.
Yes, somebody's trying to comment, I couldn't get to my mute.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anybody wish to change their vote? Motion passes, all yes, one no. I mean, one absent.
All yes.
Okay, next is the citizens forum. Mr. Hicks, would you hand me the citizens forum? We have 6 people listed on the citizens forum. It's in our rules and orders that the citizens forum will last for 30 minutes. So when you come forward, please try to hold what you're saying. As of right now, we've got plenty of time. And if it goes over just a little bit, that will be okay. But try to limit what you're saying so that everybody will have time to speak. The first one on the citizens forum is Henry Berry.
My name is Henry Berry. I live in the 1st District of Benton County, and I would like to make some opening remarks. First of all, the first thing is that everybody's heard the rumors through the years that Henry Berry is going to sell the electric company, hogwash. It's not a good piece, and I've never been in favor of it. The second thing is, there's talking around that the mayor is going to get a job at the electric company if they put me on the board. That's the most asinine, stupid, ridiculous rumor that anybody can have out. Why would anybody do such stuff? I think he's the mayor, isn't he? The next thing I want to talk about is 3 different things concerning the law on electric. Tonight I will speak on the electric law of 1935. TCA 752-108, 752-112, 752-113. These 3 statutes are the responsibility of the county commission, just like the county budget, the county tax rate, bond issues, etc. What you don't know is that right now, if you look in your packet, how many of you have a copy of the minutes from the electric board? That's what I thought. Okay, I'm going to get with 108 first. It's going to be Section B, because Section A has to do with 1939 in the beginning, Genesis. Section B has to do with, it says, successors to retiring members so appointed shall be appointed for a term of 4 years in the same manner prior to the expiration of the term of office of retiring members. You can interpret prior any way you want to. I don't have, that's not my job. The next thing to remember is that in DCA 112, your second responsibility as county commissioners, if you don't like what's going on at the electric commission, at the electric board, you have another avenue. When someone puts you up for an appointment on the electric board, if you don't like it, burn them down. It's that simple. The second opportunity to do something about it is that you can remove members of the electric board by simply referring formal charges, a simple majority, and once you do that, if it's successful, it takes 3/4 of the county commission. You can kick them all off or just one. You have avenues to address the needs of the people of Benton County. The third and final one, I wish I could talk about all the silences. The last one has to do with 752-113, and it is without a doubt one of the most egregious violations of the electric system. Right now, I know for a fact because I researched it with the clerk this afternoon. For a year and a half, they've had minutes brought up by their secretary and placed with the clerk from the electric board. The problem is that the law states the board shall keep a complete and accurate record of all meetings and actions and all receipts and disbursements and shall remake reports of the same to the governing body, that's you, at intervals not to exceed 1 year. For decades, I've come up here and watched them give out an electric readout on how much power loss there is on the lines and all that. The problem is such reports shall be in writing, shall be filed in open meetings of the government body and the municipality at stated intervals not to exceed 1 year, and a copy shall be on file with the clerk. I'm informed by the clerk that they started one about a year and a half ago, and prior to that, they may be in there, but it will take a considerable amount of time to dig them all out. But
they're in there, but we just started putting them in a folder a year and a half by themselves, but we can go in each month.
okay.
We've had them the whole time, I'm sorry.
But the point is, you as county commissioners are supposed to get this in your back. How do you know what's going on? Right now you've got, for 10 years, you've been paying a superintendent of electric over $1 million for 10 years service. Seems a little exorbitant to me. You've got an electric engineer that you're going to, they've advertised for. I find it alarming that a county this poor has to go out and put that out for bid, and you don't even have it in the budget. Besides what they've been doing for an engineer all these years. Why all of a sudden do we need more? It is up to you.
You have 1 minute.
Thank you. You have to understand the citizens of Benton County own the electric system. The needs of the citizens are not being met or served. It is in the best interest of the citizens of Benton County and the County Commission to approve individuals to the electric board who have the ability to explain the law and the rights and responsibilities due to the law. Thank you for this opportunity.
Next is Carol Wallace.
Hey y'all, I'm Carol Wallace. I'm the director of Benton County Senior Center, and Mayor Lashley has asked me to just give y'all a quick rundown about the problems with the building that we're in and what we could do if we had an upgrade out there. So I'm going to do this quickly. I've been told I talk pretty fast. Okay, the problems with our building, we don't have enough room, according to the number of people we serve. We are not supposed to have over 30 people in the end where we have our seniors. On any given Tuesday night, other than COVID, we may have 60. So we're hurting for space, and if we could spread out in the rest of the building, get us a new place, then we could serve a lot more people. Our music equipment and dining room had to be moved twice a week. We can't leave our decor in place more than a couple of days because of this. It is wearing out our stuff, our tables, our chairs, our sound system, all this moving, and to be right honest, all of us are getting a little bit older, and it's kind of hard for us to get all that done. I'm telling my age a little bit here, but I'm the baby up there, and it's just kind of getting hard for us. We don't have near enough storage for our music equipment, tables, chairs, Meals on Wheels supplies, mobile pantry, out-of-season stuff, overflow of our kitchen supplies, etc. We don't have plug-ins. We have extension cords running everywhere, and we all know that's a big no-no if OSHA comes in. We had a few more put in a few years ago, but it's just not enough to operate everything that we have. And some of them don't work at all. Our ceiling is falling in a few spots, and we have leaks in the exercise room. When it snows, I have to take a big bucket and set it under one because the ceiling will fall in with the weight on the roof from the snow and ice. We have very small office space in the office assistants and the Meals on Wheels office, so small that they can barely walk around their desk. We have no hot water in the bad end of the building, and sometimes we get the smell of raw sewage coming up. There's been major plumbing problems. Now, some things that we need to run efficiently, our want list, I guess you'd say. And let me say that we do have a few of our seniors here, if y'all would stand up and let them know your name, that want to show their support for this. We need a large common room to leave our music equipment set up all the time, and big enough for us to have our bingo and our game tables set up. And we could do more than one thing at a time if we had a little more space. If we had this, it would eliminate the problem of overcrowding on that one end of the building. We need a room where seniors can go and quilt or craft or do whatever they want to, where they can come in the morning and stay all day and do whatever they want to do. We need a small conference room for meetings or to hold evidence-based classes. We are required every year to have evidence-based classes. That's classes on diabetes, chronic diseases, heart attacks, just any kind of health issues that faces our seniors. We have access to classes, 6 weeks classes at a time, but we don't really have a place to do it. We work with UT Extension on that, and we just do the best we can. We can't have one thing going on at a time. We need lots of storage because we have lots of tables and chairs and lots of decor, freezers, kitchen, utility shelves, cabinets. We need a place to put them. We need our exercise room expanded or just a different location from where it is in the building now. We need a pool room. We have a really nice pool table, but you can't get around to shoot pool because that's where we have to keep our extra tables and chairs and all of that stuff. We need 4 offices with closets and shelves in each one, a staff bathroom. Would love to have some sort of a patio out front when the front is finished off to let our little ladies come up there and have little snacks and all. We do an outing every month, and we're called the Golden Girls, and we go somewhere every month, and sometimes we'd like to cater in to them, and we would like to have a nice little place to do that. And of course, we would need the landscaper. We also would like to provide a place for the veterans of Benton County to have a regular meeting place. They don't have that right now. And with COVID, they've had no place to go. So finally, I'm going to close out now. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. We would appreciate your support. Our seniors would appreciate it, and our Benton County veterans would appreciate it. So thank you all a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy Weatherly.
That clock going is kind of intimidating up there. So I'll make this short and sweet. I'm Kathy Weatherly with the Benton County Fair, and I'm here in support of the Farmers Market Agri Center. I feel like that it would be a great, the improvements that it would consist of in that area would be a great improvement to the city, to the county, to the residents, to the businesses that are already located in that area, as well as the fair. Of course, that's my main concern, is the fair. To have access to a facility during the week of the fair that we could hold pageants, baby show, some of our Century Farms that are great job grown, would be awesome to have that facility. And of course, really, we all know it's going to rain the week of the fair, so that would really be a plus, because it always does. But anyway, that's just, you know, I feel that the farmers market part would be a great asset to our local farmers, to our artists, to our craft people, to have a quality place to set up and have sell their goods. If we have a great venue and quality products, quality vendors, the people will come. They'll come to that location. It doesn't really matter where it is. For example, Henry County's Farmers Market is located at their fairgrounds, right next to residential area. And they have a farmers market address, and it's practically right in the middle of a residential area. And then, of course, Carroll County is off the main road. So I think it not being right out on 641 would not really make a difference with that. I think that the location, the people are going to come. If you have what they want, they're going to come there. They'll come to see you. And I realize that our county needs a lot of improvements and a lot of new things, but we have to start somewhere. And personally, I feel like the Farmers Market Agri Center would be a great place to start. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Iris Swift.
Iris Cliff, hopefully y'all can hear me okay. I live in the 5th district, and I just wanted to come out and give my support for the farmers market package. I think this would be a great thing for our county and our community. We live in an agricultural-based community. That is what Benton County is at its essence. We are farmers, we are gardeners. You know, we live close to the earth, and I surely, you know, everybody can remember a year ago, we were in the grocery stores, we couldn't find any food. And if we have a farmer's market, we have a supply chain that is here in Benton County. There's no, you know, the truck drivers couldn't make it, the factory workers couldn't package it and stock it. We will be getting food from our neighbors, from our friends, and from our family. Not only that, it will be a safe place for vendors to set up. They won't be on the side of the road, you know, causing stop and go traffic and dangerous conditions for them and the people on the road. And it will be a big tourism draw. Preston, Whole Rock, they don't have a farmer's market. New Johnsonville doesn't have a farmer's market. These are all areas that are close to here that would probably come and utilize this service. As far as the location, I have worked with Kathy and organized very successful vendor event at the fairgrounds, just feet away from where we're talking about setting up. So in the age of social media, if you tell the people where it's at, they'll go to it. So, you know, that is not even something that, to me, would be a problem. If we invest and we make these things, these attractive things in Benton County where people want to come here, where people want to spend time and spend their money here, that's going to make, you know, people that have businesses, people that own industries think of Benton County maybe as an attractive place to bring their business. And when we have more businesses and more industry, we have better paying jobs. When we have better paying jobs, our children don't have to leave to find, you know, careers that can support themselves. So, you know, that's definitely something to think about. The community center is desperately needed. You know, all of you guys have been down there at the fairgrounds, knee-deep in mud, never fails just about. So that would provide a dry, comfortable place for some of those events to take place. And not just at fair time, but some Roseanne earlier we spoke, she said weddings and other get-togethers that, you know, our community could have. And also the Senior Citizen Center, I have friends and family members that work there, and they work so incredibly hard to try to make something nice for our senior citizens. And Benton County has a high population of senior citizens, and they have worked hard their whole lives. And we have seen over the past year with COVID and the loneliness and the isolation that they have had to experience, that senior citizen centers are, you know, absolutely necessary for these people. And they deserve the best that we can give them. And so I think that this is a step in that direction, and making sure that we provide everything that we can possibly provide. So I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Debbie Baldwin.
Apologize for my dress. I normally don't come before the board with shorts and t-shirt. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it here today tonight. But I agree with Ms. Cyrus and Ms. Kathy. I read everything they said. This farmers market, ag center would be such a wonderful thing for our city and our county, because it's going to bring in things. How many of y'all have went to Country and Western to eat? How many? Okay, it's out of your way. It's not on 641. It's not in the middle of town. You go there. We go at least once a week. I don't know about anybody else, but if we have a farmer's market there, people will come. We put an ag center there for our 4-H kids, for our farmers. I mean, all our farmers in this county were contacted, and they all agreed this would be a good thing to have. They would participate with it. I know we have a lot on 641 that's set up every year, but I have been so close to hitting people in the rear end or seeing someone almost have a wreck, because when they pull out, they don't look, they just think, just like our county lawn yard sale. It's their road. They're there for a reason, so they can just pull out. If we have this in this one area, you've got two ways to go out. You can go around Old Depot, you can go out 70. It's going to cut down. They're not going to pull right out on 70 because you've got the road in front of Country and Western that they're going to pull out of. It's not nearly as easy as 641. I just think it would be a great addition. And I know you can look at people that drive to Nashville to go to flea markets and farmers markets and Jackson, and that's a lot further than being right here in town. I think we'll pull people from all the counties around us, that they'll come in and purchase, they'll come in and set up there. It would be great, like our classic car club that meets, what do they meet, once a month? That would be a wonderful place for them to set up. There's going to be electricity provided there. We can have food vendors that come, the trucks that set up in the empty parking lots where there's no business. You know, ideal for them to set up there. That's all gonna bring in other people into this county, because I've been to Carroll County. They had a big thing around their square and had huge amounts of food trucks and dessert trucks and crafters, and we could do that right there all in one place and have plenty of parking, be plenty of parking for the restaurant. We would help Country and Western too. I'm sure people that are gonna come there are gonna go over to Country and Western and eat, as well as the food trucks that may set up there. It would offer us all kinds of things we could do as festivals. We could sponsor as a city. And this is one time, I will say, I never remember the county commission and the city board working together on anything. And this is one thing that has been agreed on by both. I mean, there's commissioners here that are against it, but there's some that are for it. And I just wish y'all could come to an agreement that it's not who proposes this work, who proposes this program, who proposes this project, but what will it do for our citizens? What will it do for the citizens in other counties? I mean, this is gonna not just affect Benton County. When you come over that hill from where Jack's Barbecue used to be, you don't see that big black mountain anymore. It's gone. The city has, with the state, gotten rid of that big black mountain. It's green. Now we look at the bottom of the hill, and what do we see? There's nothing there. There's empty buildings on one side, empty buildings on the other side that are falling in just about. We could make that a beautiful spot. We really could if we would just work together. And the city is working. The city is backing this. The city, I'm a city alderman, and we are working toward this, to work with the county on this. I just hope y'all can see fit to pass this tonight, because the city is for this. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Matt Stowe.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to see everyone tonight. I'm coming by, I don't want or need anything. I'm just here to say thank you. And I'm here to say thank you for a couple of reasons. I don't know if you all have checked the internet lately or looked and seen, but Benton County, Tennessee, and Camden, Tennessee in particular, are on numerous multiple top 10 lists for the safest places to live in the state of Tennessee. And I think that's something that we should all be very, very proud of. If it was just one list, if it was just one organization saying this, then I would think, well, maybe they don't know what they're talking about. But this is now confirmed and cross-checked by numerous sources. Benton County, Tennessee is one of the few places that is safer today than it was even 5 or 6 years ago, and certainly going back beyond that. In terms of crime fighting, we've gotten better over the last 5 years. Everywhere else, just about, in Tennessee and quite frankly the United States of America, has gotten worse. In most places, it's gone off a cliff how bad it is. And you've seen some of the headlines from places that are not in this state. You know, homicide rates up 100%, up 200%, places like Chicago, Minneapolis, and other places. But you don't have to go over there to see that. You can just look around the state of Tennessee, and if you look in just about every major area outside of this one, you'll see that. The 24th Judicial District is made up of Henry, Benton, Carroll, Hardin, and Decatur. Major towns include Huntington, Savannah, places like that. If you look on these lists, while you'll see Benton County and Camden, Tennessee are up here at the top, you'll see all those places are up closer to the top. Maybe they're not all as good as Benton and Camden, but they're all better than they were. And that takes teamwork. That got accomplished. Starts with the patrol officer on the street, the one that's barely making enough money to make sense to even go do that. It starts with those dedicated folks. It works its way up to the management. You don't get there without people like Sheriff Kim Christopher at the reins and the helm making good decisions. You don't get there without Mayor Lashley working with the sheriff to get him what he needs, and you don't get there without county commissioners like yourself that are supportive of law enforcement and listen to law enforcement when law enforcement says they need something, and I'm not saying don't analyze critically. Of course you analyze it critically. Of course we don't give people everything they want. But figuring out what's essential and getting the essential tools to the sheriff and to the officers on the street is key in making that. And if you want to know if that's money well spent, if you haven't talked to a realtor lately, I would ask you to check with a realtor. Look at the price value of your home, okay? And compare it to where it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Folks, when your home values are appreciating, yes, they're getting a little bit better everywhere, but when they're going up like they are here, when they're going up like they are in Hardin County, the realtors down there, several of them told me last night, they don't even let people price their home because in the week between when they set a home price and when they actually are prepared to show it, it's gone up so much that the price doesn't even make any sense. And I think you'll see similar things are happening here. You're going to see it in the value of your home, you see it in the value of your land, and it all starts with great leadership at every level. Benton County's got it. So my team and I work very, very hard to try to deliver a safe place to live to you, but we would have no chance of delivering it without support from everybody, including the county commission, to get our job done. So thank you very much. The other thing I'd like to say before I sit down is this. Tomorrow in the legislature, the Safe Seniors Act of 2021 will be under consideration by the Senate Judiciary Committee. Some of the older hands here may know we've been working to improve Tennessee elder abuse laws for as long as I've been district attorney. I and my team wrote, this will be our 4th law, should it become law, and anything that y'all can do from prayers to phone calls that will assist in that process would be greatly appreciated. But at the very least, wish me luck as we go down there and try to strengthen the laws protecting our elderly. If you are elderly or you think you might be someday, the Safe Seniors Act of 2021 has got something for you. That is the law I want in effect when I become a senior citizen. And so we're going to do everything we can to make sure that senior citizens who live in this area are safe. And you're going to see the result of that in the surveys, and you're going to see the result of that in your home values and everywhere else it comes when you have good law enforcement and you protect your seniors. You should see that moving forward. Thank you all.
Moving next to number 7 on the agenda is the Commissioners' Forum. It's open for any commissioners that want to speak right now.
I really appreciate all of these citizens that have come forward and talked about their desires to make Benton County better. Because, you know, the school is funded very well. And also, if we don't bring jobs in here and improve the county, then those seniors graduate. They're not going to stay here. They're going to go somewhere else. We're going to be left here with just seniors. And with the Senior Citizen Center, that needs to be one of the best buildings in the county. Because they deserve the best. They've given everything that they can to the county, and we need to give back to them. And it's not just because I'm a senior citizen either. And I really appreciate everything that has been said tonight, and I wish that all of you would come back every commission meeting, and so that you can be aware of what's going on in your county. Not just when there's a popular issue that is maybe not everybody's not agreeable to it. But that's what a commission is for. It's for debate. Sometimes we get a little heated, but that's human nature. But I really appreciate all of you that came tonight.
And I think I speak for every commissioner here. Senior Citizen Center is a big priority for us. It really is. I'd like for everyone to know that in general. Without her speaking about that, I'd just like to also say that. But what I wanted to speak about was with all these resolutions that the mayor's come up with, there's lots of rumors, like Mr. Berry said, about the working at the electric company. But there's also some things out there, Brett, we'd like to know as far as your military. A lot of people saying that you're either going to volunteer with another unit or your unit's going to get deployed. Do you have any intent on what's your plan, or can you tell us what your intent is with the Tennessee Army National Guard? What you're going to do? Are you going to be gone during all these resolutions that we've got to look over and things of that nature?
Do you want me to answer that now, or when it's my turn to speak?
No, I mean, that's fine. I mean, whichever way you want to do it. But I'd like to know, I'm sure a lot of commissioners, a lot of people like to know if you're going to be around here if these resolutions go through, and like to know what's going on.
I'll speak to them.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else before we move on? Okay, we're going to move on to number 8, which is our county mayor, attorney, finance advisor, and vice president proclamations. Can you do the proclamations first?
I'll submit the proclamations just for the minutes and the record, because they're lengthy, and I'll just submit them for the record.
Okay. Next is Ms. Susan Knowles. Susan has been hired as the Tennessee River Resort District Director, and she wants to say a few words.
Evening. Sorry, Wallace. Good evening, y'all. I appreciate everybody coming tonight and the time that you guys take to make these decisions for all the constituents of Benton County and vote on our behalf. It's a lot of work and a lot of time you put in, and I appreciate it all. I am the Director of Tourism here for Benton County. I'm here to speak as the Director of Tourism. This isn't my personal beliefs as a person. This is me speaking as the Director of Tourism. Agritourism is a huge industry here in Tennessee, with agriculture being #1 industry and tourism being #2. Obviously, agritourism is very, very important in Tennessee. Agritourism is what we utilize when we're talking about tourism in agricultural sense. A farmer's market would be very beneficial to Benton County when it comes to a tourism aspect. There are lots of stats I could sit here and ramble on all night, including Tennessee and all over the United States. One thing that we can really look at when we're talking about the farmers market in Benton County is the economy that we live in here in Benton County. We have a lower economic threshold when we're talking about citizens of Benton County, when we're talking about it as a whole. The income is low, and one of the best things about a farmer's market in Tennessee is we can accept SNAP benefits. Just in Benton County, in March of 2021, there was $390,319 that were dispersed to Benton County residents just in the month of March for SNAP benefits. That money can be utilized at a farmer's market, but it can be doubled. The way that works is the point of sale system is given to the farmer's market. The people that are the merchants do not have to have their own point of sale system. The people that are coming to purchase the fresh fruits, the fresh vegetables, if the merchant decides to opt into that program, they're given tokens. The people that are out there buying everything, the tokens are then given to the merchant, and the merchant is then given the money by the SNAP program. They're able to double their money for fresh fruits and vegetables. Agritourism is a super booming industry right now in Tennessee. People are coming out of this pandemic and they want to go to rural areas. And one of my favorite things in life is marketing. Well, when you market things, something that I've always been told is you're not buying a drill, you're buying the whole, you're not buying the steak, you're buying the sizzle. We're providing these people with an experience, not just fruits and vegetables also. They're coming to Benton County to be a part of our community. They're coming to Benton County to experience the small town life. A farmer's market is an ideal small town experience. You're coming to buy the fruits and vegetables, but you're coming to buy it from the local farmer who's going to tell you about his grandchildren and how long that farm's been in his life. Those are the experiences people are coming to these small towns to enjoy. So we're not just opening a farmer's market, we're opening a venue. It's a place where we can hold events. It's a place where our community can get some civic pride installed. We need something to be proud of, and we need something that shows what Benton County can produce. We're agriculture. Let's show people, let's have some bees out there and have demonstrations. Those are the kind of activities that people are looking for when they're coming to these rural areas. And we want to make sure to give it to them. We want to be proud. In the farmers markets that have been in Tennessee that I have talked to, I talked to one over in Humphreys County that's in Acute. They said that the people in New Johnsonville are absolutely dying to come to Benton County to shop at our farmers market because they don't want to go to Acute. We are surrounded by farmers markets on all sides: Decatur, Humphreys, Henry, Carroll. We are lacking in that department. We have a market that isn't being utilized, and we need to. It's a huge draw for people to come into Benton County where we can take their dollars and we can turn them into sales tax dollars, and we can keep promoting tourism for the TRO. As the tourism director, I see no downfalls to the farmers market. As a constituent, of course, I have questions and things that could be worked out. But when it comes to tourism, this is a win. It's a huge win for Benton County. And I just want to make sure that you guys think about the tourism aspect and think about the possibilities of tourism with the farmers market. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you guys taking a look at what tourism can do for Benton County and what a farmers market can do for tourism.
Mr. Summers is the chairman of the Benton County Audit Committee, and he has a report for us.
I'd like to present a copy to Mr. Mayor and to Madam Clerk of the calendar year 2020 report of the Audit Committee. I've already given a copy to Madam Chair, and I would like to address the members of the County Commission on our annual report. I will be brief, subject to any questions that you might have. The Benton County Audit Committee is a statutory committee. It's a reporting committee, not an investigative committee, but it reports not only to the county commission, but it also reports to the comptroller of the state treasury, which is, as he calls it, the state's top cop. The state's top cop, the comptroller, basically regulates every county, every instrumentality of the state that has to do with funding. Every year, the comptroller audits the assets and the liabilities and the financial statements of every county, all 95 counties, and every other instrumentality or agency of the state. And for example, in the county audits, they usually approach 250 pages. And then the audit committee, which is appointed by the county commission, then determines whether or not there are findings of the comptroller that need to be rectified. And then we also report whether or not management, that is, the departments of county government, have rectified or fixed those findings. Now, kind of like, and I'm not trying to be facetious here, but kind of like a building or a home inspector. If you've ever sold your home and had a home inspector, or ever bought a home, you know they're going to find something. Now, that said, what I'm going to do, after I introduce the members of the county audit committee who came here tonight, and I told them I don't want to embarrass them, they just need to raise their hand when I recognize them. I will first start with our newest member, Sherry Hill. Sherry Hill, originally from Wyoming, has moved here with her husband and her family. She's been a realtor for 16 years and a broker for 14 years. She's a member of the Tennessee Valley Association of Realtors. She does a great job, and we appreciate her expertise on the audit committee. The next person is Ken Tapley. I don't think Ken is here tonight, but he's a Marine. And Ken Tapley says that when he was on active duty, he was a drill instructor for flight trainees for future pilots in the Navy. And he said when he got off of active duty, he got into transportation business, was in charge of Tapley's transportation services and also Alice's restaurant. He said that he has been a long-haul truck driver and has driven in all lower 48 states of the United States, and he's visited all 50 states. Ken Tapley, by the way, he also says that he's a great caretaker for dogs, for pigs, for children, and for bees. And he says he does a great job at all. The next person that I'd like to introduce needs no introduction. That's Stanley Rowland. Stanley Rowland, a prior county commissioner, an educator in the Benton County school system. He is our vice chair, and Stanley graduated from Austin Peay State University, and he spent his career, primarily his career, in the chemical business. I think it was Chem Metals was the company for which he worked for over 3 decades. The last person who is also a Benton County native, along with her husband Brent, you know Jennifer Hedge. Jennifer is the most important person on our committee. She's the secretary of the committee, and she performs all the minutes, makes sure everything is filed, and she does almost a verbatim job of every meeting that we have. She does The only issue that we have on the committee with General Hedge is we don't know whether to call her Secretary Hedge, General Hedge, or Judge Hedge. Because in her day job, she's an assistant district attorney in General Stowe's office in the 24th Judicial District, and she primarily handles Benton County, but she's all over the place. And also, she is the city judge of both Camden and Big Sandy. And she does a great job, and we appreciate her, Jennifer, on our committee. I'm Paul Summers. I've got a place on the very southeast corner of Benton County. I think I'm the farthest house southeast in Benton County. On my back porch, I can see the Tennessee River, and I can also see 4 other counties right off my back porch. I love being here. I'm the former Attorney General of Tennessee. I've been a judge at every level in Tennessee state's courts, and I consider it an honor to be on your audit committee. Let me be brief. I don't have an uplifting story as General Hedge. General Hedge. As a Freudian slip now. General Stowe had. But I've got a good report. And allow me to read my conclusion. Everybody should have gotten a copy of your report by now. And so I will not read that report back to you. Unless you want me to.
No.
Thank you. But I will read the conclusion, which sums it up. The Audit Committee is a reporting committee. We're reporting to the County Commission on our work in calendar year 2020, which obviously has been a tumultuous year. The Comptroller's fiscal year 2019 audit report was issued on February 13, 2020, and one technical finding was presented. That is, one department was found not to have deposited some receipts within 3 days of collection. Management concurred in the single finding and also within 3 days and certified that the deficiency was rectified. It wouldn't happen again. We applaud the hard work and diligent application of the Mayor's Office and management on almost a flawless audit. Filed in January 2021, the fiscal year 2020 audit is being studied by appropriate subcommittees of the Benton County Audit Committee, which were appointed in our February meeting by me. The committee has no concern for which the Comptroller or law enforcement needs to address. To the best of our knowledge and belief, none of us is aware of any actual suspected or alleged fraud affecting county government. As of March 2021, there have been no formal complaints filed with the committee in 2021, and as a matter of fact, none were filed with us in calendar year 2020, nor since I've been on the Benton County Audit Committee since March of 2018, we have never had a formal complaint about fraud, waste, and abuse filed with us. Now you may ask, how do you report something like that? Well, you can talk anonymously to any of us 5 members of the Benton County Audit Committee for us to determine probable cause, or you can call the Comptroller's Fraud Hotline at 1-800-232-5454, or you can go and you can write a letter anonymously if you want to P.O. Box 651, Camden, Tennessee, and Secretary Hedge picks up those mailings, but she's never had any mailings to the best of my knowledge. So, that's my report. I'll be glad to answer any questions if anyone has any questions. But subject to no questions, I beg leave of the chair to conclude.
I'll address citizen comments first, and then I have an address to the County Commission regarding a resolution that will be discussed tonight, and also Commissioner Fowler, I'll answer questions and rumors that we may hear and try to clarify that. First of all, I want to say thank you to Mr. Berry for clarifying the fact that rumors get started and how it got started that I would be on the electric. I don't know how things like that get started, but thank you for kind of putting that in order tonight. If you see me before the body trying to be the electric, I'm either trying to run from these guys and get away from them, but please say no. But speaking of Mr. Berry, he comes up tonight with a resolution to be appointed to the Board of Public Utilities. He is my choice. It is a privilege that I get to recommend to the County Commission, and he has my highest recommendation. I think we've all seen Mr. Berry's activities in the community. I've seen his resume. I know his background. And I've told y'all this, whether it be informally or informal manners. I want people to be engaged in the role that they're supposed to do. And whether it be a board, a committee, whether it be ad hoc, temporarily, permanent, your legislative committees, I want you to be engaged in your duties. The best interest of the citizens. And I don't think I've put forth an appointment before you that I haven't either engaged that person to determine whether they're going to have an interest and whether they're going to have an energy to serve, but a desire to serve. And I also say this since this is on Facebook. If there are citizens out in the community, these aren't things that I always go out and advertise. I want people coming to me. I want people coming to express their desire to serve in a particular capacity. I look for 2 things: skill and knowledge in the particular subject matter that they're going to oversee, or heart. And I think when you've played athletics or you've been in the military, heart goes a long way. Sometimes you don't have to know everything, but if you have heart for the position, you'll get to know it. You'll engage yourself to know the product. I'm going to use Kenneth as an example. First time commissioner coming on, didn't have any legislative background. Kenneth is one of my most engaged commissioners. Comes by my office on a regular basis, asking. He loves being a commissioner. He takes his job seriously. I love the engagement that we have. He doesn't have to agree with me, but just like with committees, I want people that's going to be engaged in their role. Talking about the Audit Committee, Ms. Sherry Hill, Ken Tapley. Those were appointees that I had recommended to the Audit Committee. And I interviewed with them. I got to see their background. I saw the heart that they had for the job. But you multiply that by multiple committees throughout the county, ultimately we're going to get it right. And we're going to start reversing some of these models that we built where people are just rubber stamps. And they just go and they nod their head and they're not engaged. I want people to be engaged. I don't care if it's tiddlywinks. Be the best tiddlywink board member that you can possibly be. And that's all I ask. And I think that Henry Berry will be thoroughly engaged. I believe he'll be fair and he knows the role of the board. Secondly, talk about the Senior Citizens Center. Part of our strategy when it came to this capital improvement plan, or not, was aligning our county services to work together and to work on behalf and complement one another. And the Senior Citizens is one of these particular operations. It has not been on the loan resolution earlier because we didn't know the outcome of what we could do with the other building. We just got the inspection report about 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, and we met with a contractor, and it was basically determined at that time that, look, you do not need to save 1 inch of the old clinic. Whether it be the age of the building, the codes that it's related to, but part of the operations of the Senior Citizen Center overlaps into that building. And we didn't know whether we were going to demolish part of that building or all that building. But after speaking with the contractor, it came to our conclusion that, well, you know what, the whole building needs to go. That's going to impact senior citizens. So we added them to this project, but we took off the annex. We took off the jail. So again, the money kind of balanced out, and we feel like it's a bona fide and beneficial project for the community, and I think it's something that should be included in the resolution, and that's why we did it. Also, aligning services. When we look at the Senior Citizen Center, you know, my hopes is basically to relocate the volunteer program there, whether it be Veterans Services, Northwest Tennessee Transit, part of getting everyone together where it's a one-stop shop, where one location, one building can make multiple services to the same type of customer. So the Senior Citizen Project is very important. That's why I put it on your resolution. Talking about, there's tons of comments we could make about the farmers market. I think we've heard it. One thing that I think that wasn't discussed was Ag Extension has spoke to us before and have told us that the impact of a local farmer's dollar when it's made directly with its customer, of how it gets compounded within your community. Agriculture is the #1 industry, not just in Benton County, but the state of Tennessee. Tourism is second, and there's really not even a close second. That's how big agriculture is. We don't necessarily see it a lot in the community, but you just have to drive down in the rural roads, you're going to definitely see it. The farmer's market actually is an accoutrement to the Ag Extension mission. It all started with wanting to build an ag presence in our community. We've got agriculture extension. The farmer's market helps their mission. But it's not just a farmer's market. It's a community gathering place. We've heard from the county fair how they'll be able to utilize it. All we're doing is setting our fair up for success. We want them to be successful. That's tourism in our pockets. So again, we're taking something lemon and making lemonade out of it. The farmer's market is an accoutrement to our overall ag civic complex. I want to talk about what General Stowe said. The one takeaway that I'll say is there's optimism. He exuberated optimism that this is a great community to live in. And we've seen how it's been growing in the last 2 years. People outside of Benton County gravitate to that optimism. It's not something that's just you wave a magic wand and create. It's generated, okay? And it's generated by the citizens, the populace. We feel better about the direction of Benton County and where we're going. And that optimism is starting to exuberate. You've made a lot of decisions that's built to that optimism. So again, county officials, leaders, legislators, we see it whether it be on a national level, y'all take a lot of heat and you really don't get the credit that you deserve. But again, pat yourself on the back. You're making good decisions. We're making good decisions. We're going to be a team throughout this process, whether we agree or disagree. But again, my hat's off to you for that. Okay, rumors. I also heard a rumor that the mayor has to sneak into the courthouse to work. Late at night at that. Like what am I trying to hide? You know, I'm probably the most talkative mayor you've ever had. I mean, you probably want me to shut up a lot of times. But I don't lack for wanting to share what I do and where we're going with people. I don't have to sneak anything, okay? And I don't know if you just noticed it. I work till midnight 2 nights a week, okay? And when I'm not working till midnight, I work till 10:30, 9, 7:30. And that's supposed to be a negative on me. That's a slap in the face to the people of Benton County. We should celebrate that we've got a county leader willing to give you 27 hours a day. You know, those are things we don't see out of county leaders, I don't think. I'm proud that I'll give that many hours. I work 24/7. When I'm on the road at meetings, wherever I go, my phone is constantly working, my laptop is on. I have to tell you to text me before you call me because I'm always in a phone call. I'm always in an email. I'm always in a text. I work all the time. And I think that's a compliment to the dedication that I give this county, especially this office. To me, it should be welcome, not something that's ridiculed and looked down upon. Military. This is a big one. And I've been reluctant to I'm not saying this in an official manner, but first of all, we all volunteer, except for Ward Plant and Don Patton, when they were conscripted into the Revolutionary War Army. But for Commissioner Fowler and myself, and I apologize if other members have served, it's an all-volunteer Army. So first of all, we all volunteer to serve in the military, okay? But as far as me volunteering for a deployment is ludicrous, okay? First of all, I should be hounded for trying to skirt my duties as a mayor. If I volunteered for the position, that is a slap in the face to the citizens by me. I would never do that. I was elected mayor for a 4-year term, and my desire and I guess an expectation is I would serve the citizens of this county for that 4-year term. If I do a good job, you'll re-elect me. But my unit is a deployable unit. I'm with the 1957 Contingency Contractor Unit. We do have an alert order with my unit. Our expectation is that we will deploy. Now, when does that happen? I don't know. I'm expecting it to come this summer. And as soon as I have an individual order, meaning Brett Lashley is part of this unit, will deploy, you'll be the first ones to know. The public will be the first ones to know. I could actually deploy or get mobilized. Deploy is when you go overseas, but mobilization is when you get called in active service. I could go there and get kicked out after a month for medical reasons. I'm almost 59 years old. You know, people start developing problems. You know, heart problems or whatever it may be. They could easily kick me back. You know, so I could be gone 1 day, I could be gone 1 month, I could be gone up to 11 months. And that is going to impact our operational posture here. And again, it's things that we have to plan for, but you know what? We'll figure it out. All of you, this body will figure it out, and we'll make the most of it. But I'm not going to skirt my duty to the United States citizens, the United States military. I signed up for that job, and when I ran for public office, I clearly disclosed that I was a member of the Tennessee Army National Guard, and we never know what tomorrow brings. We could be deployed tomorrow, we could be in a full-scale war, who knows? But if I'm called, I'm going to answer the call to duty. And again, we'll figure it out as a governmental body. So, I want to finish, going on the record. I want to address this resolution tonight because it's been somewhat controversial at times. I think it's a home run. I think it's something that we can accomplish big things with. But again, everybody's got their opinion on their side. But this all started back in June of 2018 with a capital improvement plan that all of you who were members of that body supported unanimously. Our goal was a $5 million in project, and that was the expectation that we would have a $5 million debt obligation. So the June of 2018 CIP is what we call it, Capital Improvement Plan. It was only going to be centered on one project at that time. We didn't really know what it was. They just said sportsplex. Okay? But I took a different approach to that. Because first thing I did when I was your county mayor, did an inventory of buildings. I didn't like what I see. I had to answer an email today about someone about why we did this, and we kicked the tires on that. And I want to say this courthouse is almost 48 years old, and we've really not done it. Now, we've repaired things, but we've not really built the courthouse for the future, have we? The Ema Building. So Ema is one of the projects on that loan tonight, right? It's operating out of a 1968 medical clinic. So do you want your emergency response to come from doctor's room 27 with the communications equipment with concrete walls that were probably built for the Cold War? I don't think that's a compliment to the operation of emergency services. But second of all, that building is falling down. I mean, it's got mold and mildew throughout it. We've not done a good job as a county at taking care of it. You fast forward over to the Ag Extension Building. They were operating out of what I love. I'm partial to Dr. Black. I call it Dr. Black Clinic. But we all know it as the medical clinic that housed several doctors. That was built in 1957. It floods in the basement. It's got mold and mildew in the bathrooms. We can operate out of it, but we didn't do a really good job at keeping it up to standards, right? So what was the first thing? I know Ward Plant, you walk around with me. I know Kenneth, you walk around with me. I mean, other county commissioners walk around with me. Our county buildings are not in a good shape. The capital improvement plan it's about multiple projects. It's about doing the most you can to upgrade your capital structure within your county. Okay? So we've been able to accomplish a lot of projects that's not even tied to the loan. Again, most of those are based off grants and other type of funding, whether it be cash in our bank. But I'm going to be a mayor that respects the taxpayer. Nothing disrespects the taxpayer more than saying, oh, we want you to build a building, but we're not going to keep it up. So you got leaky pipes, outdated equipment, mold and mildew, walls chipping. To me, that's the slap in the face of the taxpayer. So capital improvement plans are a necessary evil. If we're doing it right, we're doing it about every 5, 7, no more than 10 years. But you always want to keep your county buildings in its optimal operating conditions. It respects the taxpayer, and it actually saves you money down the road. Unfortunately, we probably went 50 years before the light went on and said we should be doing this. So I'm going to continually challenge you that we've got to look ahead on how we want to grow as a county government, as a citizenry, and the capital improvement plans that we want to put forward. So somehow, again, we came back to this. We had the $5 million issuance. We came back and said, hey, we can do this, this, and this. We came back with a $6 million issuance. Everyone, pretty much for the most part, said yes. But there was some contention in the community, and I do not, I'm not going to criticize that. That actually turned out to be a positive process for us. Because it forced us to go back to the starting board and get it better. And so it's been a very healthy process. But for some reason, lately, I think there's been a little bit of contention. It's taken a different angle. Now, what am I talking about? One thing is like, we've got the Oversight Committee, okay? I wanted a project committee. I wanted people kicking the tires. But I wanted stakeholders, okay? But unbeknownst to me, I had to wake up one day and find out that there's an Oversight Committee. And I'm thinking that I'm going, okay, I could work with that. But we named individual names on it. And I've never seen cases in resolutions where that's the protocol. You never put individual names on it. Of course, I deduced that this person's the chairman of a committee, this person's the chairman of the committee, this person. So I reworded the resolution to name the positions of the committees. That is the proper protocol. Those are your oversight members to begin with, are your chairmen of the committee. But if y'all feel you want one individual's name, two individuals' names, or the 5 or 6 commissioners that we have on there, just make an amendment to the motion and name that. I'm not against that. I don't think it's respectful to all the commissioners. Because I do know, and I'll mention it by name, Sonny Hall, I do know that Angie Hearn, I know that Daryl, I think Rocky, I'm going to say Ward, Don Patton. We've got multiple commissioners with a lot of tenure that could have been asked to be on that committee, but they weren't. Okay? So maybe Ms. Gill wants to be on the committee, or Ms. Dye, whatever. But I just felt that that was disrespectful that no one got asked. The chairman of each committee did. Okay? And that's the way it should be. But do you feel that there needs to be individual names? If you do, make an amendment to the motion. I did not feel like the base motion needed it. Again, the resolution is sponsored by the mayor. Okay? And that was a change that I made because I feel like it was respectful to all the commissioners. But I'm not against it. If you feel like you need to be named individually, totally support it. Totally support it. We've got another commissioner, and he's done a great job in engaging his constituency, that there was some apprehension just about the farmer's market. Now, I don't want to cherry pick the projects, because I feel like they're all important. But I can work with that. If this commissioner wishes to make an amendment just to pull the farmer's market funding, loan funding off, I'll work with that. I'll let his peers be the decider. I would hope that this commissioner looks at that as being valid for his decision, that if his peers choose to cherry pick out a particular project and defund that particular portion out of the loan, I think he can rest with, hey, at least my peers made that decision. My concern is part of the overall funding of our capital improvement plan is tied to a lot of grants. Okay? So part of the loan money is really to leverage ourselves to get grants. Some of these grants are 50-50. Other grants have been 100%. But at the end of the day, we have changed this plan multiple times of where we're going to adjust the money and put it. But wherever y'all want to vote on it, just make an amendment where you want. But I say that the farmer's market is an accoutrement to the ag extension and its mission. And to me, it's representative of our agricultural community overall. I think it's a great addition to the community. But if you decide to defund that, reallocate a little bit of that money, I think the sheriff just wants some vehicles. That's an excellent opportunity to fund his vehicles. We could possibly give a little bit more to the senior citizen annex. I'm not sure that, I think we had 200,000. I'm not sure that's going to do it all, but possibly. But just talking amongst yourselves and say, hey, let's reallocate this much of this. But that's only if you want to get rid of the farmer's market. Doesn't mean I'm going to give up on the farmer's market. I still believe that whether it's tied to loan funding or not, that it is a needed accoutrement to the ag mission. And I will work my tail off to find the funding somewhere, somehow. Okay? But at the end of the day, I'm going to accept your decision. And I just want you to know that if y'all vote this down, we have an Ema Building tied to this. We have senior citizens needs tied to this. We've got an ag extension tied to this. We have a community development block grant tied to this. What are we going to do with that? We're going to turn it back in? I don't think if we turn this one in, we'll ever get another one. But that's something to think about. I do believe it's been a positive process. I mean, really, we've really discussed this now for 2.5 years. Whether you're for it or whether you're against it, whether you're cynical about it or whether you're optimistic about it, it's all been a positive. Brought us close together. And we've had some heated debates over it. But at least you've got a mayor who engaged you about it and brought it to you. And we didn't just come up here one night and pass it and it be gone. And no one can say that I have not had the spirit of cooperation. Okay? I've invited you multiple times on the Facebook live meeting to come to my office, come speak to me, sit down, let's talk it together. You know, I want what is best for the overall future of Benton County. This is a quality of life accoutrement for the county. Okay? I was asked what kind of economic return is coming out. I'm going to say that's something you'll know in about 5 years when you look back and you see the robust activity that's going on. That will be the economic return that you'll see. But if we do not begin building quality of life accoutrements in this county, I'm telling you right now, we're going to die. We're seeing it in our schools right now that families are not moving to Benton County. I want our schools to grow. I want to build new schools when the population is going a different direction. Okay? We cannot just be a retirement community because the person who's going to bust through your door and save you in a burning house is not going to be a 70-year-old. It's going to be a 27-year-old. The person that serves Sheriff Christopher is not going to be a 65-year-old sheriff or deputy. He's going to be a 32, or he or she is going to be 32 years old. Our teachers start with the younger crowd, okay? Our road workers. If we do not begin building quality of life accoutrements in Benton County, we're going to lose, well, we've already lost it. We're already seeing the trend. It's the facts don't lie there. We've got to do something to turn that around. All I'm asking you is to support the overall project. If you want to nitpick it a little bit, tonight is the night to do it. And I'm accepting of whatever y'all decide. But the reason I did not name individual names, I just did not feel it was the protocol for it. I did not feel it was overall respectful to all the commissioners that may have wanted to be on that committee. But I'm accepting if you want to put an individual or two by name and leave the others by title. I'm okay with that. I'm okay if you want to adjust a project funding here or there. But we've got to get moving forward. We've got to keep the optimism going forward. And I'll accept your decision. I'm just proud of you. I'm proud of the decisions y'all been making. General Stowe said it. There's optimism in this county. You need to be patted on the back for that. So, Madam Chairman, I yield.
Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes.
Somebody requested to speak.
Commissioner Ferguson?
Motion to adjourn for 5 minutes, please. Okay, you talk too long.
Okay, there's recess.
We're going to recess for 5 minutes. I don't care what
Pretty quick. I got from 9 to midnight. I'm going to bed. I gotta get up at midnight. Right, that's
I would really own something and realize it and come back next month and do it. It was a nightmare. You always sure we're here till midnight. Sunset Mall kicks me out, something like you gotta wait for demo that it'll be saying well, that's what I you weren't in here when he was talking to him.
I sit over here and be away from it, pointing straight at me.
You were right in the middle, too.
Oh, that's right. I'm 200 right now.
Just take mine, mine's gonna be gone.
If somebody else leaves, we're using your cell phone. You got Daryl on one and Marty on the other.
Yes.
Norman Fraser, yes. Gary Farr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn.
She said she lost meeting. Tell them to let me back in.
Stand by. Come back to her.
Don Patton, yes. Ward Plank, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston.
Yes.
Rocky Preston, yes. Angie Hearn.
She's back in. I'm waiting for her.
Angie, you're back in if you can hear me.
Angie Hearn?
Yes, I'm here.
And your vote?
Thank you.
What's your vote, ma'am?
Approval of the minutes, Angie.
No, that's right.
Okay, Angie Hearn, yes.
Okay.
Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries.
Next is the report of the public utilities. Need a motion by Commissioner Patton and second by Commissioner Plant.
Rochelle Hill. Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Darrell Hicks.
Yes.
Darrell Hicks, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Billy Guy, yes. Norman Fraser.
Yes.
Norman Fraser, yes. Gary Farr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn. Angie Hearn. Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plank, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston.
Yes.
Rocky Preston, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries.
Next is the approval of the report on the debt obligation for the school's $2 million capital outlay note. We have a motion by Don Patton and a second by Bill Melton. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Madam Chairman, I have a motion to amend by Mr. Plant. Mr. Plant, are you wanting to motion to amend?
Which one's that, on
the outlay note?
This is the school.
The school's outlay note.
It's already
Did you hit the button back?
I'm sorry, I hit
try.
accident, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, I asked to vote, I mean, not to vote, but I asked to speak.
I'll go get to you in just a second, we'll kind of take care of this, okay?
I don't want
Okay, so he pulled that, okay, now Ms. Powers, you're recognized.
Oh, okay. Since Commissioner Preston cannot be physically present, he has written something for it to be discussed here. It's concerning the resolution 2, and he asked me if I would read this for him.
Ms. Powers, we're not to resolution number 2 yet.
I thought that's what they were asking.
He was mistaken on resolution 1.
Okay, my apologies.
Okay. Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward,
yes.
Yes. Daryl Hicks,
Yes.
Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier,
Yes.
Norman Frazier, yes. Gary Furr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn,
Yes.
Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Crescent,
Yes.
Rocky Crescent, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 17 yes.
Next on the agenda is the approval to renew the lease agreement for the vocational rehabilitation center. We have a motion by Commissioner Ferguson and a second by Commissioner Melton. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Daryl Hicks, Daryl Hicks,
Yes.
Daryl Hicks, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier,
Yes.
Norman Frazier, yes. Gary Furr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn,
Yes.
Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson,
I've got a question. I am on that board. Should I pass?
This is really good.
Does she benefit financially?
No.
Then you can vote.
Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Crescent,
Yes.
Rocky Crescent, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries.
Next is a resolution to extend remote meetings and implementation electronic participation by Executive Order Number 78, which is resolution number 1. We have a motion by Commissioner Ferguson
Mr. Frazier.
and a second by Commissioner Melton. And first is Commissioner Hill. You're recognized.
Yes, I have a question. Like today, we're all meeting almost close to normal. Is passage of this going to cause us to start closing meetings to the public again if the state of COVID remains as it is here in Benton County?
Well, right now, we kind of are driving off what the state government's doing, you know, and how the governor's approaching some things. And he is beginning to relax a little bit, like the electronic meetings. The reason, we were hoping that April we would be back to a full normal session, and that's why we called a live session, but his executive order goes through to the end of this month. So right now, we do not have any indication that he is going to extend this beyond what his current executive orders run. And if they're going to begin relieving from the state level up, then you're not going to see probably a lot of county restrictions and county closures, or at least petitioning out of our operating spaces the way it is. I cannot speak on behalf of the courts though, because they kind of have their own show, and the courts are much more restrictive than our general county operations. So.
No, I'm just referring to making these meetings as accessible to the public as possible.
Yes.
I believe the mayor's answered my question. This is only good for another 8 or 9 days, Mayor, is the way I understand it.
Yes, so any meeting that we have, we can still use the electronic format up until that time. And if I get a renewal executive order, I'll email it out to all the commissioners as well.
Thank you, sir.
Any other? Roll call. Michelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Darrell Higgs.
Yes.
Darrell Higgs, yes. Ronnie Hopper, no. Mary Powers, yes. Clea Dye, yes. Norman Frazier.
Yes.
Norman Frazier, yes. Gary Farr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn.
Yes.
Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston.
Yes.
Rocky Preston, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries. 16 yes, 1 no.
Okay, next is resolution number 2. The resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation capital outlay notes in the principal amount of not to exceed $2 million. We have a motion by Donna Patton and a second by Ward Plant. Okay, it's open for discussion.
President?
Okay.
This was not recommended by budget, and I really would like to make a motion to postpone this till next month, because there's a lot of things that I think need to be answered. I know none of us are really against this. We want to have it, but there's too much unanswered stuff that we need to do before, and I think we need to postpone it till next month, and I make a motion for that.
I second.
Commissioner Powers?
Yes, I would like to know what the questions that they're wanting to ask.
Well, there's a lot of them. One of them is that the cost, I think, is going to be astronomical from what we had to begin with, because that was last year. Everybody knows a piece of wood now that was $15 and $100 and something. So yes, there's a lot that I would like. That's just some of it. I'm going to name all of it.
But your concern is the county is spending so much money, and y'all are acting like this is coming out of our coffers, because a majority of this is grants.
I don't agree with that, and there's things on the grants that I want to know about too.
Well, we've had plenty of time.
So we've got to get it on the floor with a motion and a second.
I've asked to speak also.
Commissioner Plant?
Yes, my problem with this thing, we've been working on this now for over 2 years. And the reason it is that, the plywood used to be $28 a sheet, now it's $70 a sheet. And we keep extending this, it's just going to go up. What problems, what do you need to ask? If we can't answer right here at the floor, let's try it. I mean, you got, whatever you want to ask, we've been having this in our hands for 2 years now. Can we not answer right here at the floor and go and move it forward tonight? Can we do that? The mayor's right there, would be glad to answer anything you got. Why postpone it?
We have to have better understanding
What?
of the money.
This is no better understanding me looking at you and you looking at the mayor. Let's ask you questions.
Do you have a list of everything that's
Well,
going to be?
I'm satisfied with everything. I've seen it.
Okay, I'm not.
And also, you're not gonna know what it's gonna cost till you get the estimates and about the project.
Commissioner Howard, you're recognized.
But we just got to
When they get through
I'm
figuring
not
out.
recognized.
You know, I've had an opportunity, and I had a sidebar talk with Ms. Powers there. I've talked with the mayor, with the mayor, the city mayor. We are getting his grant. We are still gonna have to pay his part of $475,000. The city's on board with it, but all they're giving is their grant rights. We have to pay that other half of that 50-50. There's a lot of stuff here that really needs to do. What I see, I see that senior citizen thing is that's something that we need to look into and really do something solid with. I've talked with just as many people that's called me in the 4th district and says, hey, can we actually afford this? You're gonna have to look at the longevity of the utilities. Again, you look at the location, and like Miss Weekly stood up, she talked about the farmers markets and stuff that's inside the fairgrounds. How come we can't have a test run? Use our fairgrounds for that. Maybe sink a little money in there to help the fair board. We know it's not the Benton County Fair Board is not owned by the Benton County. It's a standalone entity. But surely they would work with us a little bit to do that. We got lots of questions that need to be asked about this, and I think the numbers that Bill and the budget had looked at had been changed, like the mayor said. He put some names to it. So now we got some issues, that needs to go. But again, I will state that I bet every commissioner in here believes we need a senior citizen center, and maybe we need to research that, break all this up, get grants for that senior citizen center, then put some money into that and support our individuals. I don't think, and I've talked with a lot of individuals, and I helped start the petition that he talks about that made him refocus stuff. And I think we need to break things up and work it one thing at a time and decide where we're at. We're going to get industry in here, folks. You're not going to get it in here with pretty things. You're going to have to educate our young adults. And we're one of the lowest paying counties as far as income. You need to do like we talk about Paris, we talk about Huntington, we talk about Waverly. You need to do something with the Votech School or the Allied School Trade. We've got a perfect spot down there for that now. And look into something that's state funded. I've run 3 or 4 young men through my shop, not knowing at the time, come from Paris, that trained for body work. And I said, hey, how'd you do this? Oh, it's free. They pay us money. So anyways, I yield.
Mr. Patton, wait just a minute, okay? You'll get your turn. Will you push your button on there for me, please, so that you'll get in line to speak?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Next is Commissioner Melton.
There was talk of amending this to remove the farmer's market. If you amend and remove the farmer's market, you no longer need $2 million to do this project. So, first of all, I'm against amending any resolution authorizing general capital outlay notes. But if you're going to talk about removing this, then you don't need $2 million. It needs to be postponed, looked at, and decide how much we are going to have, and borrow only what we need, not an excess amount of money, which is what we would be doing if that is removed.
Commissioner Powers?
Yes, is this the right time now to speak for Commissioner Preston?
Yes.
Okay, he has written this for me to speak here in person instead of him on the phone. Yeah. He says, I'll start by apologizing for not being there. My statement is directed to the chair with hopes of all citizens, both Facebook and those present, to hear and understand these words. Repeat the words and keep your calls coming. It is my analysis for the past 3 years that we have some department heads and some commissioners who would rather see Benton County fail than for our county mayor to be successful. Based on my observations, I've witnessed a noted pattern with less than a limited willingness by some commissioners to support our county mayor in his efforts to benefit Benton County. Benton County citizens are being told by these commissioners and department heads the mayor is spending us into oblivion. What these citizens are not being told is the large amounts of tax dollars from Nashville in the form of grants coming back to the county. Passage of this resolution and to bring these projects to Benton County without a tax increase will defeat the hopes and dreams of this group of commissioners' desire of defeating this mayor in next year's mayoral election. And ladies and gentlemen, this is their true motivation. This mayor was researching the projects and discussing these projects with the voters before he was even elected. The farmers market, the vendor center complex, the emergency management building, AG Civil Center complex, senior citizens activities room addition, and Camden/Benton sidewalks. We have a few commissioners of whom are willing to squander current opportunities to improve Benton County, resistant to the mayor's efforts of plans so to provide for their own political fortune. In closing, this group of commissioners I speak of fully supported our previous mayor, Barry Barnett, without question, without challenge. Chairman Ward, rarely do you support our current mayor. I ask you, how was it you only opposed Mayor Barnett a few times, only late in his term, and this was only when our budget chair opposed Mayor Barnett?
That has nothing to do with the resolution, okay? Bringing up past history of our county commission.
This
has
is
nothing
about
to do with this resolution, so we're going to move on.
This
to the
matter of
next
tender
one.
may even
Commissioner Patton,
sabotage
you're
your remaining to
recognized.
the office you were elected to serve.
That's not what this subject is about right now. We're on a resolution. We're not on what happened in the past commission, which was 4 or 5 years ago. We're not pointing fingers at who voted for what. So we're going to
We
move
just
on.
want to be heard, so we can heard.
Commissioner Patton, you're next.
But I agree with Commissioner Ward here. We've been discussing this for 2 years, and anybody that wanted to know anything, all they had to do was go to the mayor's office, because I've been in there and he sat down and explained things to me. He's really put a lot of work into making sure we get the right things at the right price, and I think that we need to pass this tonight so we can get it moving.
Commissioner Nunnery, you're next.
As I understand it, we have a motion on the floor, so if that motion passes and we table this for later, I would like to see when it comes back, and I think that many would like this, I would like to see it come back as separate projects, so we can look at each project individually and vote on it individually.
In a way, these are separate projects built in a resolution. The resolution says up to or not to exceed $2 million. I like the fact that we have an oversight committee. Your oversight committee is going to be your main driver of the finances, and whether money needs to be moved here to there, here, there. You know, now I don't know if there's a legislative process to that. Keep in mind, I'm the chief financial officer of the county. You know, I'm in charge of roughly $35 million when it comes down to it. You know, operationally, I'm not. But y'all entrust your mayor to manage your money. We've done every mayor prior to me the very same way. They are your chief financial officer. Still, I like the fact of an oversight committee. I talked to Chairman Fraser about that. He's the property committee chairman. He needs to be neck deep in this. You know, Phil Melton is our budget chairman. He needs to be neck deep in that. They're going to ensure that we're guided properly. Okay. Now, I do take question to Commissioner Ferguson's comments that this is the most debated, transparent, financial presentation any mayor has probably ever presented. 2 years of information. She sits on the budget committee. She should be a subject matter expert on this, and she's confused about the numbers. You know, this is a bidding process. Okay, the longer we wait, time is not on our side when you look at the economic conditions. 2 years ago, we had low rates, low prices. More and more and more delay will be just worse and worse and worse. You guys will kick the tires off of this thing and you'll do nothing. At the end of the day, you'll walk away and you'll do nothing. You can't go say, well, we're going to do this with the senior citizens. We've got several $1 million in the bank right now. Y'all do whatever you want with your cash. Borrowing is leveraging our money to its greatest efficiency. Rates have never been this low. That is the biggest advantage that we have right now. And we can do a lot with this capital improvement plan, okay, which y'all can define as time goes on. I've defined it as multiple things. We've done a lot of things without this loan money. But the loan money is needed to leverage the grant. We talk about the city. I'm glad that they gave us their eligibility because now that's $450,000. It's worth us to say, we'll come up with $450,000 in order to get $450,000. And we've got assurances from the state of Tennessee that say, if y'all put that forth, we're going to give you a thumbs up. Okay? We probably won't get that luxury if we pull this and come back and tell this guy, hey, later. You know, they've got their eyes on us. And if we give it up this time, we won't ever get it. And we've got to know by July 1st. That's why we cannot wait. Because the Budget Committee has to base their budget on this. So I would like to have our budget almost final in the month of May. So that we can go into June and vote on it and approve it. But the more and more we delay this, to me it hinders even our budget process. So at the end of the day, again, at first I thought, do we need an Oversight Committee? I like the project, but I like the Oversight Committee. The Oversight Committee at the end of the day will drive the financial process for this particular capital improvement plan, these particular projects. And I totally trust that they'll do the right thing, they'll make sure the money's here. The bidding process, keep in mind, the bidding process gets you cheaper prices. We haven't even got to that. These are all estimates, just like our budget. When we get to the bidding process, we may come out much better than we think. But we may not either, and we'll find out then. But if we say, well, we're going to do it next month, well, I know what's going to happen next month. Well, gasoline went up, and lumber went up, and darn, do we really need to do this? At the end of the day, I want a home for agricultural extension. I want an agricultural mission represented in Benton County, and I want it to be in the grand fashion. Because our farmers deserve it. And I know in the end, we're going to look back and say, that's the best decision we've ever made. And I'm telling you, it will have a positive impact, not only on the community, it will economically, it will further the agricultural footprint in this county. The farmers market is a community complex. It's going to be used as a farmers market 3 days a week. It may be used for Legends Cruisers 1 day a month. It may be used for the Christmas parade. It may be used for school car washes. But it's a great accoutrement to the overall community, I guess you would say, benefit, and especially ag. Ag extension is what drove this whole thing. We want to have the best ag extension operation in the state from the county. Farmers market. I just want the Oversight Committee to take charge. That will answer Ms. Ferguson's. She's on the Oversight Committee. I mean, you know, she's going to be on that. So she's going to have a say-so in the way this money gets allocated here or there. You know, waiting, I'm not for waiting. I either want you to kill it tonight, or let's give it birth, and let's give it wings, and let's let it roll.
Commissioner Hill?
I'm not in favor of postponing this. I think we owe it to the citizens to make any changes that need to be made to it and either pass or kill it. But postponing it doesn't serve anybody.
Commissioner Hopper?
Yes, I'd like to. One thing in the resolution I don't like is providing for the levy of taxes. That sounds to me like if this thing goes over the budget, we can levy taxes to the community, and boy, we're going to be in trouble if we do that. And another thing is, I would like to see some of that money come out of farmers market and go in to the senior citizens, because that's way light for what they need. And those are the things that I was concerned about. I wanted to put the sheriff in there, but Phil has told me that he's working on something for them. So these are the two things that concerns me the most. If we can work that out, I can get on board with this.
The resolution does not have a listing of you had a spreadsheet, and that was for your chewing on to understand where the money would go. So actually, your oversight committee is going to be able to drive this, where they want the money. If they want to take less put less on the farmer's market and put more on senior citizens, they could do that. And like I said, I'm just going to work harder to find this money elsewhere for the farmer's market. I'm not going to stop ever trying to find us more money. Okay, just today, we got $150,000, 100% discretionary grant from the Tennessee Department of Ag. We got another $50,000 with Ag that once it's completed, it will buy the equipment for the interior of the building. But it's got to be completed before they'll give us that grant. You talk about taxes. Everything's paid with taxes at the end of the day. Even the grants come for it as tax money coming back to Benton County. But the beauty of this is that we've been able to show that in our current budget, we have saved enough money, we've paid down our debt, and in another year and a half, or a little over about a year and a half, we'll retire even more debt. And all that is going to drive back to this particular loan. That it's not going to impact our budget one penny, not one penny on your tax rate. So your taxes are not going to go up as a result of the
Madam Chairwoman, may I speak?
Well, Mr. Frazier has had his hand up several times, and then I'll come back to you, okay? Mr. Frazier.
Thank you, Chair. From the get-go, I've been a major part of this as chairman of property, and Phil's worked really, really hard on this. I've been for it. I was really for it, then I was for it, and then I was against it. The Oversight Committee that we put together, a handful of us was assisted in putting that together, was really set out to be use of the Ethics Committee. And that would put a continuity between all the committees and communication. There is some rewriting that got done and stuff like that. So, you know, 2 or 3 of us, the chairman, want to stay on board. I'm for maybe amending it and assigning somebody like we have in some of the committees in the past for the committee to bring the information back to each committee, if that makes any sense. For the steering committee to be made up of those committees. Got that? Now, as far as the taxes go, I think the mayor, I don't know if you can touch on it, Mayor. That was one of my major questions, a setback from the get-go, because it talks about ad valorem tax to our citizens. Okay? There's things like that are in there. And just so you know, that's in pretty much all the capital outlay projects and bonds. It's like a cosign. We're going to pay for the sales tax, but if sales tax don't present itself, or not enough, then we have the right to pull from ad valorem. Okay? So there's a lot of hidden numbers. The more you look into it, the more reasons you'll find not to be for it. Okay. I went through some of these numbers. I have paperwork that's over a year old of itemization of where the money's to be spent. Not everybody's got one. Okay. This is outdated to a degree. Like you said, we got to get bids. There's some money in here that bothers me. The good news is we're putting a steering committee together that can steer that money. We may have to come back to the commission to either move it to be legal, okay? Because we assigned it to specific projects. We did that because there was innuendos and accusations of the money being used outside of this presentation. Okay? So to help secure that the money stayed on focus for these 5 projects, that's another reason for the steering committee. Oversight. So the words are words. So at this time, I'm for it. I have truly talked against it, like anybody else last 2 or 3 weeks, But I've been doing my homework too. I do agree we need a farmer's market. It's not just a farmer's market, it's a vendor's complex. I can see the Boy Scouts down there doing SWAT cars, okay? There's things that we can do. I've been wanting to take the old civic building that's down there and just do something with it in the state that it's in, but it's not safe to enter, and I don't think we can get the electricity back on right now. But, so, I say let's move forward. If we need some more money later, let's see what we can do. We may not do what we need to do. In other words, we may hold on a project until some more money presents itself to get one completed. Okay? I yield the floor, Chair.
And just so I interject, just to give you a timeline how this works. Your loan money can go immediately to start the ag extension. Okay? If you want that to start as soon as possible, you can do that. The things that are tied to a grant probably will not start till next spring or early next summer, because we have to go through the application process, but the applications have to be in right at July 1st to August 1st in that time frame. So you've already got to have your ducks in a row by that time, because the state is going to obligate based upon our application that we're able to do the project. So those particular awards will probably come late September, October. Well, we probably won't start on projects in the winter. We'll probably wait until about March 1st of next year to actually start on the project. But you got to have your ducks in a row now. You got to know your budget, what it's going to be going forward. The budget committee needs to know that, and the state has to know that when we apply for these applications, that we've got the commitment. We are making that commitment tonight.
Ms. Laura, you're recognized.
Thank you. I was just going to speak directly to that question about levying taxes. And I know that Commissioner Fraser answered a lot of that. This is required wording anytime you're going to have something like this. And the reason it has to be in there is they want to know how are you going to pay for it. It doesn't mean you're going to add new taxes. They just want to know where are you going to get the money from to make sure that you can pay the principal and interest. And this is just saying from our existing taxes.
Okay, is there any commissioner that wants to speak that has not spoken yet? I'm going to give everybody a chance before we go back to someone that's already spoken. Okay? Okay.
How close are the owner estimates? Is what it actually costs today? On your bond. I mean, I'm sure Alvin is give you a good estimate or
On the cost of the project or the cost of the loan?
The project.
Okay, so he's pretty convinced that the farmer's market will cost $1.8 million. And a lot of that is concrete and asphalt because the parking lot is a large parking lot. And so that adds to the cost. The particular structure itself is going to be about $850,000. The buildings, the strip mall buildings, are probably going to be about another $250,000 to $300,000. Then you've got your asphalt. Then you've got other accoutrements. But I've asked them if the 1.8 is accurate or not, and they seem very. I guess they built some in the past, and they know that would be a pretty strong figure. Ag extension, they've got at 1.4 million, but again, that could be 1.2 million once you bid it out. It could be 1.5 million. You know, this is where the Oversight Committee, I think, was a good move. You know, again, I'm not going to stop letting grants. I mean, I still have to go approach USDA to see what they will come to the table with, and I'm hoping that the grant monies will actually cover the increase in costs that we've been seeing. That's why I said time is not on our side. So the more we delay this, probably the more we're hurting ourselves. The best thing to do is get this thing out and get it bidded and see what the competitive process brings back to us.
Chairman, can I speak?
Thank you.
Commissioner Fraser, I just wanted to say, because you had made a comment about that there was talk about the capital outlay note funds being spent on things outside of the scope of these projects. That can't happen. That cannot happen. just like the last 2015 capital outlay note, that would be illegal. I mean, and we can't do that. When you take a capital outlay note out, it has to be spent on any of the projects that are presented during the time of taking that note. So just like in our 2015 capital outlay note, when we took 1.2 out, I still have funds left from that capital outlay note project that has not yet been spent on anything. Because we were in the middle, or we were trying to wrap up the TAP project, the courthouse enhancement project, when Mayor Barnett left. We had to finish that project because it's a reimbursable grant to get the funds returned to see what our balance looked like, and if we would be able to move forward with any of the other projects that Mayor Barnett originally proposed when he took that capital outlay note out. So right now, what I have left from that capital outlay note is still sitting there in Fund 178 because it can be only used for specific purposes, such as what I've been pushing for about the past 2 years, is use that fund balance, or that balance of that note, because it has to be spent within a certain amount of years also, to do ADA improvements, handicap improvements to some of our buildings. It's already spent, it's still sitting there. So I don't know where that come from, but that's my job. And for a comment to be made like that makes me feel that there's a lack of faith. I don't care who sits in that seat.
Well, when I see the text in regards from the mayor that says that, and I wasn't going to bring it out in public tonight, it makes one wonder.
Well, I can tell you this much, that the mayor may have a million ideas, but there is.
Maybe I misspoke.
There are people in his office that do their job and do their job lawfully and very well. Hence the fact that we had almost a perfect audit, aside from one finding. So I can reassure you that those funds will be overseen and spent accordingly with a capital outlay note.
And like I said, I feel good that that is the truth.
Absolutely.
Mr. Hopper.
So if we pass this resolution as written, you're saying that we can't take money from the farmer's market to put on the senior citizens?
No, sir. What I'm saying is you can reallocate, you can put, it's not down to a dollar amount per project with your capital outlay now. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, when Commissioner Frazier made the comment that there were rumors that these funds would be spent outside of these capital outlay note projects. So, for example, taking $100,000 for, I don't know, a parking lot repair can't happen. It has to be one of the projects that is tied to this note. Okay.
It's in the third paragraph of your resolution. So the third paragraph of your resolution basically stipulates what the money's going to go for. It cannot go outside of the project.
I got one more question. If, when we bid this stuff, what if these projects come up to $4 or $5 million instead of $2 million? What are we going to do then? If we've already got this resolution?
Less.
To me, at any time, the county legislative body can defund projects, you know. So you can't just say we're not going to go any further on it, you know. And that's why I say having an oversight committee. I like having an oversight committee, you know. But we subject ourselves to all types of things with the county. You never know what's going to pop up financially. We've learned that with other issues, not just loan issues. But that's what the legislative body is to decide. You can fund and defund at will.
I want to exercise my rights as the chairman and step down. So, Mr. Ward, would you please come up and sit there?
You mean I'm gonna have a choice to not let you speak at that side too?
You can shut me up.
I belong there. For what? Right here. I'm gonna be talking about that.
I haven't got a whole lot to say, but as the chairman, I cannot sit up there and debate. So I had to step down and say what I would like to say. And the first thing is that of all these projects, my first one is the Senior Citizen Center that I totally support. But what bothers me about that is just that, we only have $200,000 put in here for the senior citizens. And from what I'm understanding, we're going to tear that building down and put up a new one. Well, that won't even begin to build you a new one. So I want to be sure that we can take money from another project and use on the Senior Citizen Center. That's what I want to make sure of. And then, there's things that the citizens and the public has not known. We were never given any options at all for this, and how I will explain that is this plan that we were given, this was the plan we were given. We weren't allowed to say, okay, this is plan number 1, just like this shows. Okay, but over here you've got option number 2. We can take away the roof off of the farmer's market and spend a lot less money, and we could take that money that we could save and move it over to the Senior Citizen Center. And why I'm saying that is because the roof on it is very elaborate. I mean, it's very excessive. And I've had another engineer look at this. You've got 3 different ceilings here. You've got 3 different roofs. You've got arched beams on the inside. That costs a lot of money. Now you may think, why is she complaining about that? Well, because here's the farmer's market in Savannah. It serves the same purpose, but it has a lot smaller roof on it, a lot less expensive roof. So all I'm saying is, we weren't given options of, here's this option, but here's another option of changing the roof and using more money for the Senior Citizen Center. Now here's another one, a farmer's market. That's a simple A-frame roof. My point is, we can have a farmer's market, but we don't have to have that elaborate of a roof on it. We could change that. And that was my question, is are we allowed, once we get started in this, can we say, we don't want that roof. We want a different roof on that, a less expensive roof.
Absolutely, and keep in mind, that's an estimate. This is like a budget. We needed to know what type of project we would go with. That's actually a prefab building, the one that we showed. It's actually cheaper than most others. The one thing I don't want the committee to do is kick the tires so much that you end up building a tin can out there. This is, again, part of what we have depicted is something that will meet the mission. Okay? We have a large area out there. I wanted something large enough that we could park cars underneath so Legends cruisers wouldn't get rained out. That they could actually park underneath the pavilion, at least stage their cars so that they can actually have car shows when it's raining. Now it doesn't have to be that way, and that's what the Oversight Committee. That's why I'm glad we've got the Oversight Committee. If y'all want to change the plans, y'all are the ones that's going to determine where it falls within that parameter of monies. But we have to have a plan for our application. So before we get those, whatever we go and put the application in for, that's the plan we got to stick with. And we're very close to having to get to that point. And community development partners will work with y'all with that. They'll get your final plan and they'll move forward. That's what's going to go in the application. That's what we're committed to.
Okay, but you said we could change that.
If you want, yes you can.
Okay. The other thought I had was I heard Carol talking about the seniors working with the ag office, something that you do when you need the ag extension office. Another thought I had was, which goes back to we weren't given options, is why couldn't we take the Senior Citizens Center and add them to the ag center down there? Instead of putting a new building on the old lot, we could add that to the building that we're going to build down there on the lot for the agriculture center. I mean, that was just a thought. Well, if we had been given some more options, we could decide that. We could say, hey, maybe that's a good idea. Instead of putting them a new building there, let's move them down there. Since you work close together anyway, and it would all be down there together. And these are just my thoughts of how I wish we had had more options before we got this far with it. So we could have chosen, okay, we could have voted. Here's option 1, option 2, option 3. Which one do we want to go with? So, you know, that's just my thinking. And I have a question for the mayor. On this spreadsheet, it says that we are getting $300,000. And we asked you about it at our meeting, and you told us it was coming from higher officials. Okay, what do you mean by that? Is somebody donating money, or where's that coming from?
What that means is Tennessee Economic Community Development, USDA, or AG. Okay, so today we got $150,000, part of that $300,000. We're confident that when we present this to ECD, they will come to the plate with something. You know, that's why I said we're not going to stop looking for grants. As far as your question about these options, you've had 2 years to ask me about roofs. You've had 2 years to ask me about whether we could move the senior citizens in it, which we can't, because Ag Extension they have basically secure offices, and you can't begin mingling offices with other offices. They have to secure their offices and basically exclude other offices from access to it.
But they're together now.
So not necessarily. We have got doors lockable or whatever. And keep in mind they're in a temporary location because we had to get them out of the location that they're in, or it was in, with the old doctor's office.
Mayor, you looked into that, and that was part of the grant as well. The requirements, they told us no, that we couldn't do that. It had to stay agricultural.
The farmer's market is leveraged off of Parks and Recreation grants. Okay? But it doesn't mean we can't get tourism grants. It doesn't mean we can't get ag grants. We can also use ag grants towards ag extension as well. So you've had the opportunity to really ask a lot of these questions. You know, y'all said okay to $5 million in June of 2018 to a sportsplex. Now, someone tell me what the sportsplex is. A lot of y'all were commissioners at that time. Tell me how much detail. How many ball fields were you going to build? Where's the football goalpost going to go? You know, sprinklers. We need sprinklers there. Where are they going to go? How much detail and thought did y'all put into a $5 million project for a sportsplex? I actually thought I was doing this body a big service by going and getting the specifics that I did. Having the vision that we did. To be able to mingle this. Look at this. Another question. Why didn't we go use the old Walmart? The old Walmart was $2.6 million. It's down to $2.2 million now. The county and the city of Camden gets $40,000 property tax just for it to sit empty. If we go and had bought the old Walmart, we would have first of all taken $40,000, $50,000 property taxes out of your budget. How are you going to make up for that? So part of our decision to go down to where the old Lockhart building was and the old depot area was, we got $3,300 and $3,350 a year property tax from that site. So by choosing that, we're impacting your budget less, right? So we're taking $3,350 out of your property tax revenues every year. That was a good decision. That's leveraging money to its best degree. And we're going to build up values in that area that will easily recoup $3,350 a year from neighboring properties, the investment that we'll see down there. So that's what I'm for. I'm your chief financial officer. Y'all appropriate the money, I make it happen. So you've had 2 years to weigh in your thoughts and to kick the tires and the nitpick and do all that, and I would have answered every question to the best of my knowledge and ability.
You ready, Roseanne?
Well, one other thing is, on our first plan, we had the ball fields in here. I would have liked to have left those in there myself. You know.
Hey, don't give up on that. I mean, and we're looking at that down the road as well. And again, we got to get one thing done before we do another, But this is a start.
Well, okay. And, I'm just giving my opinion. I just wanted everybody to hear how I felt about it. It's not that I'm 100% against any of this. I'm for staying in Benton County live. I'm for seeing us having an ag center. But, you know, there's just been questions, when questions come up, and why can't we do this, and why can't we move this? So that's why I think, like Commissioner Ferguson said, there's a lot of things that maybe we could still talk about. Not that we could put it off forever. We could say, we're gonna come back and vote on this next month. But maybe we just need a little time to rethink some things. Just 1 month of it. You know, and if we come back with the same thing, then we're gonna vote on it. Wow. Okay. I want everybody to be able to talk and say how you feel. So anybody that's already spoke once, if you want to speak twice, I'll let you do that. So I think we need to get everything out in the open, let everybody say what they want to say.
I've been about a minute and a half on mine going to go. I just want to come back. Gentlemen, this is a time that we just killing and wasting money if we don't go and do this tonight. Everybody's gonna, you've done heard the mayor say the committee that you're going to put forth will have that power to do that. But if we kill this thing tonight and go on and come back, it's going to be the same thing next time. And this is something that should have done passed a year ago. But one thing, you're going to lose these grandkids if you don't get it done. They've got to be applied in this year's budget to get it. You've heard the mayor say that. So you pushing it right on up the letter. I'm going to ask Dana to draw her Smith what's done if she would and let us vote on it. So we get this thing, because we don't,
Let's vote on it.
well, that's what I meant you withdraw that, let's, you ain't gonna withdraw it.
No, we're gonna vote on it.
Okay, you're saying.
Okay. I think what he wanted to ask you is if you would withdraw your motion to postpone. That's what he was asking you. Isn't that right, Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Well, it's not only me, it's the one
Well,
that's.
you're the one that's got it, I mean, it's your motion, you make,
We never
you
officially
can
had
draw
a
it.
motion or a second.
Well, she made the motion. I don't know if we had a second.
Do you want to recognize it?
Okay. He said Mr. Hopper. Yeah, it's not easy to record when you're making an amendment.
In our system, no one officially has made an amendment, so somebody needs to go on their tablet and say that they've made an amendment.
Well, it's not an amendment.
That's what she said it was.
She's asking to postpone.
Postpone,
Yeah.
I'll make an amendment to.
I guess in the system, does that need to be an amendment?
Apparently, we gotta update that.
There's a difference in table and postpone.
Yeah.
Postpone is what her motion was.
And that would bring it, that would bring it back next month.
Bring it back next month, yes.
But we could ask you to withdraw that, and we'll vote on it tonight, without waiting another month.
Yeah, it's the same difference if the people want it, they'll pass it, if they want to postpone it, they won't vote on it.
Commissioner Powers.
What I'm seeing here is, I think the commission is losing sight of what the responsibilities are. The mayor prepares a budget and the commission approves it. And I think what we're trying to do is micromanage the mayor. That's my
Commissioner Powers?
Yeah, you know, I got a couple things there. As far as commissioners in here, I said this in the beginning when I decided to run for commissioner. We do what the people back here want to do in your district. We don't approve what we feel. We take input, you know, and all that. That's just on that. But what I like to know is, have we done the EPA drill on that place and checked it since it was an old thing? Also, what about you calling it a farmer's market in one breath, you put it on paper as a vendor center. Can I come sell my used car parts like I go to Super Chevy and things of that nature? And does that affect the grant not being a farmer's market and things of that nature? I know you talked about the Legend Cruisers, which we created 12 years ago or so. To be honest with you, ain't nobody gonna drive in the rain, park in the dry. But, and I'm all about the senior citizens thing. But everything I've talked about right here was just too many variables, everybody that I've talked with, and called me. My phone is blowed up. I might get some more minutes. But But, you know, have we done an EPA drill to check that ground? Because we don't end up like O'Reilly's down there. I don't know if people remember that. O'Reilly's come in, next thing you know, you see them hauling out all that dirt and everything because the soil was bad because it used to be an old maintenance building. And also, like I said, wording this as a farmer's market / vendor center. Does that affect, Ashley, maybe you can answer that. If you put in a grant for a farmer's market and then you throw in the word / vendor center, does that change the grant status of it?
I'll answer that. The vendor center is the strip mall. It's for indoor vendors that may want to take some produce for seasonal, winter type
so
deals.
it's not a vendor center, so you can come out and sell them at the farmer's market, right?
So you know, the
it's
farmer's market is kind of like McDonald's, you know, the golden arches. When you see the golden arches, everybody knows what to get, right? Farmer's market is in a way, it's a community event center.
So that farmer's market grant is not going to pay for that vendor center?
There's not a farmer's market grant.
What is it?
Local Parks and Recreation. Okay? So local Parks and Recreation is what's funding that particular project, or the majority of that project. And so it will fund whatever brings people together in a recreational manner. So it fits all the accoutrements. We've already had the state down here several times to okay it as far as surveys. We've had 2 EPA surveys, or what we call phase 1 surveys on each property, and it's passed with a thumbs up.
What's phase 1, if you don't mind me asking?
It's basically an environmental impact study. There's 3 different phases. So 1 is heavy industrial, so they'll drill down 500 feet if you were going to build.
That's what we've done already. We've drilled.
So we already did the phase 1 requirement, which is
drilling.
Which inspections, when you say drilling, okay, there might be a saber-toothed tiger or something like that underneath it, but we're not building it for that accoutrement. There's already an existing structure there, so that would not apply to us anyway, you see. All we have to do is pass the phase 1 inspection.
So the way to get around that is use the old Lockhart building, and we won't have to do an EPA test. Is that what you're saying?
We'll still do, I guess you'd say, structural studies for that. And I know what Mr. Fraser and I have talked about, whether it needed to be raised and rebuilt. I like preserving history. I think that adds to the accoutrements of that area. It's the most historic area in the city of Camden. So my personal preference is that we save the building if we can save it. The architect has been in there, and the engineers have been in there, and they both said, look, we've worked with a lot worse than this and built and kept building. So my preference is to keep that building. Again, that's something I turn over to the Oversight Committee to make the final determination. But as far as the inspections, we've done them all. And they name it vendor center because it's just it's not, of course, that awning that you see that's a farmer's market. So it's still going to serve the same purpose. That it will allow for indoor sales of produce and things in an indoor environment.
You know, perhaps you brought that to light about, you know, maybe not something so elaborate that you would see in the middle of Nashville or something like that. But something like that wouldn't be a bad idea, you know, or something of that nature, something more that you wouldn't be afraid of. We're very fortunate with our property taxes. The state come back, the commission agreed to stay with the rate that the state went with. Before we were paying 13, 14, I don't know, above what that rate was. But apparently all of our property value has went up. And we're very fortunate right now that our rate is down where we're supposed to be. But if we start doing something that just keeps adding on and adding on, you know, in a big chunk of something, then you know the commission is going to end up, before it's over with, if we can't do our budget, it's going to have, something's got to go up, you know, or something of that nature. And that's all I'm afraid of. And I know our average income is $21,000 here, we're only 16,000 people.
I have a question for the mayor. I thought that the grant that we were getting for the farmer's market / vendor center was an agricultural grant. And that's why it had to be called a farmer's market. Is that not what we were told?
That's what we were told, yes.
First of all, the good thing about this is there's multiple grants that we can apply for. Okay?
So
The bigger grants, though, the big money is where the local parks and recreation is. The LPRF is what we call it. So that's how we're maximizing our money, by going after a local parks and recreation. That allows us to be able to get the most particular grant for an even match. You know, so that's a good grant. We got $150,000 today for an ag grant. Y'all can decide whether to use that on farmers market, or you can decide whether you want to use that on ag extension. But we're not stopped. USDA, I'd like to go talk to USDA and see what they bring to it.
How come we can't get something for the senior citizens, some kind of grant being a low income?
I'm not against that.
How come we're not working on that too? I mean, since
I'm not against that. Keep in mind, we've just gotten into the senior citizens. You know what I mean? We just found out 2 months ago the condition of that.
I think with this approving this resolution, is actually going to postpone anything to carry down what they got going on now, and then we've got to have more money, and it's going to make things tougher. I said at the beginning, I thought it all needed to be separated, work one thing at a time, learn what your money is. I know your rate may be a little different, but you can say that.
We need to recognize.
Okay, sorry.
Chair, I would like to call the question, please.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Ferguson.
We were in that meeting.
When someone has said that, nothing else can be said.
Well, we have two motions on the floor. We have a motion.
Robert's Rules of Order.
We have to
When
vote on.
that statement is made, nothing else can be spoken.
Then we're going to take a vote on Ms. Ferguson's motion, which was to postpone, and then the second by Mr. Hopper. So we will take roll call vote, please, on the postponement.
Alien postpone. Postpone. Does this need to be a majority vote?
Yes,
Okay. So this is the vote to postpone.
yeah, this is the vote to postpone. Yes, roll call, please.
Michelle Hill, no. Mike Nunley, yes. Roseanne Ward, no. Ronnie Hopper, no. Mary Powers, no. Julia Dye, no. Norman Frazier.
No.
Norman Frazier, no. Gary Fur, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Phil Melton, yes. Angie Hearn.
No.
Angie Hearn, no. Don Patton, no. Ward Plant, no. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, no. Rocky Preston.
No.
Rocky Preston, no. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion fails. 5 yes, 11 no, and 2 absent.
Okay, then now we're going to take a roll call vote on voting for this resolution. Are there any amendments?
Yes. Yes.
Before we vote, we need to make amendments.
Yes, I would like to make an amendment on page 8, where it puts both the name of the person on the Oversight Committee and their position. I would like to delete the positions, leaving only a specific person to be on the Oversight Committee and remain on it for the duration of the project.
Ms. Hill, will you click on the button to amend, please?
It's not, I don't see buttons on that. I got request to speak in a second, or I would have.
Who seconded for the original one?
The original motion?
The original motion.
Melton. No, I'm sorry. Plant.
The original was, whose motion and seconded the original?
The original one was Patton and Plant.
Ms. Hill, do you have that?
Yes, I see it now.
There you go. We need a second for your amendment.
You need a second?
Do we have a second for the amendment?
Second.
Well, somebody else did it. Okay, so motion to amend this one. No, this is.
Okay.
So
we're
what
gonna
she
amend.
wanted. I do apologize, Commissioner Hill. Could you repeat what you were saying?
Yes, my amendment will be on page 8, where it lists who will be the members of the Oversight Committee, to remove everything but their name. Now, number 1 will stay an individual appointed by Mayor Camden, but on line 2, it should leave only Dana Ferguson. Line 3, it should just read Norman Frazier, and so on.
God bless you.
Yeah, they can't get changed
You're ready for the vote.
We're ready to vote on the amendment, as Commissioner Hill has stated, that she wants all the other verbiage taken off and just list the individual names.
Norman Frazier
Yeah, I did it. Norman seconded.
Actually, Kenneth Miller is the one that seconded it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He punched the button.
That's
I don't have a button.
Yes.
They're quicker about it.
I feel like let's vote on his
Commissioner Preston, the amendment is on page 8 to remove the names of the members and to actually have the actual people's names on it. Am I correct on that, Ms.?
Yeah. Take off all the wording.
Take off all the wording on page 8 and leave just the
name on
commissioners.
Second, page 8.
On page 8.
There are 2 pages.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Henry, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier.
I got a stupid question. What are we voting on?
The amendment.
The amendment.
The amendment.
Yes.
Norman Frazier, yes. Gary Furr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Phil Melton, yes. Angie Hearn.
No.
Angie Hearn, no. Don Patton. Don Patton, no. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston.
Yes.
Rocky Preston, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote?
Mary Powers has not voted.
Mary Powers, you've not voted. Mary Powers, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? 15 yes, 1 no, 2 absent.
Okay, now it's time to vote on the resolution as amended. That's the only amendment in the resolution.
So this is the amendment?
No, we've already voted on the amendment. This is to vote on the resolution as it was amended.
Voting as amended.
And we're voting as
amended.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, no. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier.
Yes.
Norman Frazier, yes. Gary Furr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, no. Phil Melton. Yes. Angie Hearn.
Yes.
Yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Passes with 10, 14 yes, and 2 no.
This got the 2/3 votes, so it needed 12 votes to pass.
We have 14.
Yes.
You said
Do
you
we
need
have
12 votes to
2/3?
pass, you have
Well, it says
14.
10 there. That's what I was looking at.
It passed with 10
Oh,
votes
we need to
needed,
put it in.
but it had 14 yeses, so it still passes.
We need to put it right.
So the motion has passed.
Where's it at?
You'll have to-
Next is resolution number 3, which is a resolution appointing Stephen Stokes to the TRD board for a 4-year term effective April the 19th, 2021, to expire on April the 19th, 2025. So the motion by Daniel Ferguson and second by Don Patton. Roll call.
Rochelle Hill? Yes. Mike Henry, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier?
Yes.
Yes. Jerry Ford, yes. Wayne Fowler, yes. Phil Melton, yes. Angie Hearn?
Yes.
Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston? Rocky Preston, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion passes, 16 yes.
Next is resolution number
Can we have a 5-minute recess?
Just go.
Yes.
Back up.
Yes, we'll have 5-minute recess.
That's a good one. It's
Or I met one of your buddies and he told me, yeah, he did them all. Not me, I'm drinking.
And I have a lot of
Hey, Scott. Is
Nice.
Board's ready. Board, you're ready.
Oh, foot second.
Yeah.
University. Didn't know the charity.
Hey, what happened?
Still got something down Y'all see me step out. No, I'm just thinking. Yeah.
Okay, you ready to move on, Mr. Miller?
I think so.
Okay. Next on the agenda would have been resolution number 4 to appoint Mr. Henry Berry to the Benton County Electric Board, but as the chairman, I have pulled that resolution. So that resolution will not be voted on tonight.
I think the mayor had that resolution, don't you, Mayor?
Well, I think if the agenda was approved.
I didn't approve the agenda with that resolution. I never saw that resolution when I went up to approve the agenda. It was not there.
Well,
what would you put it for?
It's in the packet, and it made the packet.
I pulled the resolution because I went up there specifically to see the resolution, and when I left, I asked if there were going to be any more resolutions to please email me a copy of it, and I was not emailed a copy of it, and nor did I say that it was okay. But another reason that I'm pulling it is because the language in this resolution is false. There is no vacancy on the Benton County Electric System Board, and there was no resignation. So the resolution is false. That's another reason. The other reason is because I reached out to the CTAS attorney today, and I've got it right here in writing, and it says that the appointment cannot be made to this board until there is a vacancy, and there will not be a vacancy until July 1.
Correct, and that was going to be an amendment that I was going to recommend that, and I apologize for a little bit of the grammatical error, because I gave the appointments that Ashley to put on. I thought she had our list that there was a vacancy as of July 1st. I will come back with this appointment in the next month. There will be a vacancy July the 1st. I am not going to reappoint the current person that's in that position. Henry Berry is my choice for that particular position to start July the 1st of 2021. So I will come back the next month. We will correct the language in here, but we have an expiring term, and I'm filling that expiring term. It's not privileged to choose that particular individual. Y'all can vote yes or no to affirm it. I'll come back the next month with the same person. Again, I've said Henry Berry is my choice. I take appointments to committees very seriously. I want someone who's going to be engaged and someone who represents this body of the people. But I do accept your pulling of this. I understand the grammatical errors in here. It does make it confusing, so I'm not going to fight you over it.
Are we not going to have to extend the rules tonight?
No, sir. We're not going to extend the rules.
I thought we had one for March. We're going to have to
That's a different one, that'll be, come up under other business,
Yeah,
that's
that's
not in
what
this report we're talking
Well,
about.
I mean, but it can come back up on it, if we suspend the rules of order, we can bring it back up under it.
But still, the resolution is not worded the way it should be worded, and I'll take fault on that. But I'll have it in front of me.
Well, and I don't want to argue with you, we'll talk about this later, but according to the CPAS mayor, you cannot make that appointment before July 1.
Yes, I can, that's the whole fact of making, appointing members.
Okay, let's get on to the resolution. We've got enough of this.
We'll discuss this later, okay? Very properly. And if we need to, we'll contact CPAS and we'll all talk.
Already contacted.
I'll have to. Okay. The next resolution is resolution number 5.
Hold on, nobody touch it. He doesn't like that. Okay. Number 5, we're good.
I apologize for the delay just a minute. I can't find the full copy of the agenda. As long as the pages missing. I have it. I apologize. I know everybody's in a hurry to get out of here. Resolution number 5 is a resolution declaring and approving the sheriff's 2 military-grade cargo trailers obtained through the LESO program as surplus property. We have a motion by Don Patton, second by Ronnie Hopper.
Okay, it was recommended by budget.
Roll call, please.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward,
Yes.
yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier,
Yes.
yes. Gary Farr, yes. Dwayne Feller, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston,
Yes.
yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries. 16 yes.
Resolution number 6, budgeting funds received in the amount of $16,800 from the state of Tennessee for the Benton County Sheriff's Department Certified Officer Annual Post-Training within the Sheriff's budget. I have a motion by Ronnie Hopper and a second by Dana Ferguson.
Recommended by budget.
Recommended by budget. Roll call, please.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward,
Yes.
yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier,
Yes.
yes. Gary Furr, yes. Dwayne Feller, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dan Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston,
Yes.
yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries. 16 yes.
Resolution number 7, resolution budgeting funds in the amount of $4,590.02 within the sheriff's budget.
Chair, can we combine some of these?
To be honest, that would be more of a nightmare for us.
Okay, That's fine, I don't wanna make it worse.
It would make it worse, I'm just being honest with you.
It's recommended by law.
Okay.
Recommended by budget.
Okay, roll call please.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Henry, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman
Yes.
Frazier, yes. Gary Fur,
Yes.
yes. Dwayne Dollar, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston,
Yes.
yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 16 yes.
Resolution number 8. Is a resolution budgeting funds within the school's budget in the amount of $20,000 received as a gift contribution from Amerigroup. We have a motion by Don Patton, second by Phil Middleton. Any questions?
Budget recommended.
Okay. Roll call please.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Kalea Dye, yes. Norman Frazier,
Yes.
yes. Gary Fur, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plank, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston,
Resolution number 8.
Is that variance resolution?
no.
No, resolution 8 is for the school budget of the $20,000 received from the. Okay.
Rocky Preston, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 16 yes.
Next is resolution number 9. It is a resolution budgeting federal funds received in the amount of $32,087 within the school's budget for extra duties related to COVID-19. I have a motion by Phil Melton and a second by Don Patton.
Recommended by budget.
Roll call please.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward,
Yes.
yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier,
Yes.
yes. Gary Fur,
Yes.
yes. Dwayne Dollar, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn,
I wanted to say for a conflict that I am a teacher with the Benton County school system, and that potentially could affect my salary, and I still vote yes.
So would you rather like to abstain then?
Yes, she's abstaining because she has a conflict.
Angie Hearn abstained. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston,
Yes.
Rocky Preston, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote?
I'm not sure, should I change mine to an abstain also?
Yes.
Okay. Change, Mike Nunnery changed to abstain. Anyone else wish to change their vote? Motion passes 14 yes to abstain.
Next is resolution number 10, basically the same thing. It's budgeting funds received from the state of Tennessee in the amount of $92,500 within the school's budget. I have a motion by Phil Melton, second by Don Patton.
Recommended by budget.
Recommended by budget. Roll call please.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery abstain. Conflict, Roseanne, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier,
Yes.
yes. Gary Fur,
Yes.
yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Phil Melton, yes. Angie Hearn,
Abstain with conflict, yes.
abstain. Conflict, Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston,
Yes.
Rocky Preston, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? 14 yes, 2 abstain. Motion passes.
Resolution number 11 is budgeting grant funds received from U-Trust in the amount of $18,000 within the school's budget. I have a motion by Phil Melton and a second by Don Patton.
Recommended by budget.
Roll call.
Rochelle Hill,
Yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward,
Yes.
yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier,
Yes.
yes. Gary Furr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Crescent,
Yes.
Rocky Crescent, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries, passes 16.
Resolution number 12, transferring funds in the amount of $2,000 within the election commission budget in order to cover the board members' fees throughout the remainder of the fiscal year.
Question.
Let's get a motion in a second first. Don, we have a motion by Don Patton, a second by Bill Melton, so, Mr. Frazier?
Can anybody, I have not talked to budget or anything, but why is there a $2,000 increase or deficiency?
His thought was that the new members on the commission, that they might need to meet a couple of times or more before the end of the fiscal year.
Okay.
And that money was not there because it was not anticipated.
To have additional meetings? Okay, thank you.
It was recommended by budget.
Roll call, please.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier,
No.
no. Gary Furr, no. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Crescent,
I'm sorry, I had my mute up. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 15 yes, 1 no.
Resolution number 13. Resolution transferring payroll amounts of $95,900 within the sheriff's budget. A motion by Phil Melton, a second by Dana Ferguson.
It was recommended by budget.
Recommended. Wow.
You're ready to go. We're not voting. You're fine.
Mr. Hill?
Yes, even though this does not include my bookkeeper line item, on anything involving payroll within the sheriff's office, I believe it's better for me to abstain even if it does not affect my personal salary, so that there's absolutely no risk of, you know, what's the word I
Conflict.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, so roll call, please.
Rochelle Hill, abstain. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Frazier,
Yes.
yes. Gary Furr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Ward Plant, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Crescent,
Yes.
yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 15 yes, 1 abstain.
Resolution number 14 is to appropriate funds in the amount of $4,874.70 to the unassigned fund balance within the general fund in order to pay the outstanding invoice received from the Barrett Group. I have a motion by Don Patton, a second by Phil Melton. Commissioner Ferguson.
This was not recommended by budget, but we got something explaining some of the money, which may make it differently, but this is also classified as new money, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Commissioner Hill?
Yeah, I believe the question that was brought up in the committee meetings last week was that on this particular found money, that she had already received her commission last year, so why are we paying her another commission for the same monies? It was our understanding that when she collects her fee, then she's done, and after that, the money goes to the county. So I think a few commissioners are unclear of why we're paying this.
Anyone else want to say anything?
Ms. Roseanne?
Yes.
She sent an email out, and I read it right before I left school.
I got it.
And it stated the reason. It talked about the different funding and how she was paid, and that we basically agreed for payment plans, so she just requested what was owed off the payment.
I will also say that we're constantly collecting monies for her, you know. And so as we collect it, if it's part of what she was responsible for, she bills us. Now maybe it's because we're getting to an end of a fiscal year, and maybe keeping it in the same fiscal year is easier. But just because we collect money in last September doesn't mean that we're still not collecting money based upon her work.
Okay.
You know, like the hotel motel tax, you know, we closed that little loophole that was in that. And because of that, the state park is now paying hotel motel taxes. That comes every month. So she's billing us on that. Plus we have a collection of taxes that she went and found that they're making monthly payments on. And so it's part of that amount as well. But we did tell her, look, if you could just bill us quarterly, it'd be a little bit easier to keep track of. I mean, she's doing it every month, and I know that probably can get confusing.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
Question: does she collect it, say the parks motel tax? Does she get a percentage of that each month after we started getting it?
She only gets it for the first year.
First one.
And once the year is over, her contract doesn't apply to the collections anymore. You know.
According to my figures, her collections on the Nathan Bedford Forest State Park will be over July 1. Her last collection will be June. And that one. As chairman, may I ask a question? On the Country Park Inn, we're still getting invoices from her on that. And this is why I'm asking. Her agreement says 12 months forward. Well, here's an invoice that says March the 2nd of 2020, which she is collecting from Country Park Inn. Is her 12 months not up on them?
Well,
that's what I was going to read what Ashley said in here, and she said it quite well on that particular thing. As it relates to the Neal Hospitality payments, the Barrett Group discovered 3 years of the company collecting the local hotel motel taxes but not remitting to the county, basically committing tax evasion. The back taxes, including interest and penalties, total $59,248.20. That amount was due and payable at the time, and is the amount the Barrett Group's total fee is based on. The hotel owner asked for a payment schedule, 6 months equal payments of $9,874.70 to be paid February through July. And what she's doing is she's getting paid on the part when they pay it, she's billing it, and not us paying the whole sum to begin with. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Well, it does, but my question is, her contract says she will collect 12 months forward. So at the end of 12 months, does that not cut it off?
It would have if they hadn't agreed that they were going to pay in payments, and she agreed that she wouldn't take the lump sum. She would wait for these payments, which help the county out.
And her contract varies. If she goes and gets back taxes, then she gets 50% of it. She discovered that loophole. She's going to get 50% of the back taxes. That she's, I guess you'd say, attributable to us collecting. However, like let's take Nathan Bever Forest State Park. That was something that was paid forward. So that was one where for 1 year's collections, she gets 50% of that. And then after the first year's over, now she may collect after the contract's over, but if it's attributed to that period, she is due her money. She was responsible for us getting that particular tax rate.
I was just a little unclear on it, thank you.
And then once it expires, then we get the 100%.
I think that's what we were all unclear about. She's pretty much up to date on Nathan Bever Forest State Park. Yeah, because there is already an invoice that she hasn't billed us for yet for the month of April, I think. So she's staying right month to month on Nathan Bever Forest. So
yeah,
probably at the end of June, we'll probably get an invoice July for June.
Yeah, this is why we, like.
Can I say something?
Just to give y'all one quick summary, just in one-time money, she's been responsible for bringing in $306,000 to the county. Recurring money that we'll see every year once her contract is over is at $80,000. For the lifespans of the taxes that she went and found for us, it's going to bring us in $1.4 million. I mean, that's how much money that was out there that we were missing, not collecting, omitting, or evading, whatever you want to say. So normally she doesn't make her money unless we make her money.
I would just say one thing, and I'm not saying, I agree, I'm not saying she shouldn't be paid, but the Nathan Bedford Forest situation, we could have handled that ourselves. Really, because
if we'd have discovered it, but she discovered it for us, and she had to write it through the legislature, so she has some expertise there. We had to pass that in our private act. We had to go through 2 legislative committees, so she really facilitated a lot of that. But yeah, if we were.
We could have.
We had a department that.
We could have written the resolution ourselves, but that's besides the point. Okay, Commissioner Preston, you are recognized to talk.
Mr. President, you're recognized.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. We just received a check from First Bank for excise tax, for back taxes that they owe the county. The check was close to about $39,000. We would have never received that money had it not been for Donna Berry. We got a state senator, we got a state representative that's not interested in helping us on these excise taxes. The Department of Revenue don't want to hear from me. They don't want to hear from any of you commissioners. They want to hear Donna Berry. She's got clout. She's a shaker and a maker. She's a state lawmaker. They answer her phone calls, and she got us a check for $39,000 just the past few weeks. That's being said, I'm going to go to the floor.
Okay, resolution number 15.
You got a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm ready to get out of here. Okay, roll call, please. What? Mr. Fowler, did you want to say something before?
No, y'all covered it. Just talk about.
Okay.
Explain that.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Montgomery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Clea Dye, yes. Norman Frazier. Oh, Mary Powers, yes. Clea Dye, yes. Norman Frazier, yes. Gary Furr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn.
Yes.
Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Rocky Preston.
I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to say good night, everybody. I'm in the time zone now. We're later than y'all. Can't wait to lay down. Good night. Love y'all. See you next month.
Thank you. Rocky Preston, yes.
I'm 32.
It passes 15 yes.
to appropriate funds in the amount of $40,000 from the unassigned fund balance in the county general fund in order to purchase the Benton County Airport fuel. Motion by Don Patton, second by Phil Melton. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Okay, recommended by budget.
Recommended by budget, and this is new money.
Okay, Commissioner Brady.
All right, I understand there's been some ongoing issues out there, but I would assume they would have the money in their budget to buy their own fuel.
The fuel sales have been going back into the general fund, not back into their fuel fund.
Well, you know, thank you.
And just a quick, we make a profit off of each gallon. They do a pretty good job. We learned some things that maybe we need to adjust gas prices, every month. I think we've only been setting it so far in advance and sticking with it. But this process has taught us that there was a run on our gasoline. And it's because we were offering the lowest price around. So we had all these planes flying in and fueling up. But we were still making roughly 80 cents a gallon off of this. So I think for this $30,000 that we're appropriating now, they actually made about $43,000 to $45,000 in revenue. So in a way, it's what I'm saying, it did more than pay for itself.
Thank you.
Any other? Roll call, please.
Michelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman
Yes.
Fraser, yes. Gary Furr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Phil Melton, yes. Angie Hearn.
Yes.
Yes. Don Patton, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? It's 14 yes. Passes.
Okay, number 16 is the resolution to appropriate funds in the amount of $5,000 from the unassigned fund balance from the county general fund in order to cover outstanding invoices received from South LLC.
What is it?
Motion by Don Patton, second by Dana Ferguson. And Mr. Merkin?
It's new money, it was not recommended by budget. And what we want to know is not, because this was for COVID relief. Is there not funds in some of the grants that we got from COVID that this could pay for this instead of it coming out?
I don't have a straight answer for that. It's possible that we could, but this is based off of FEMA grants and our other grants, or this is based off of FEMA declared disasters, and some of our grants aren't what you would say FEMA issues. You know what I mean? They come with stipulations and strings attached. A lot of this work was actually from work on the CARES Act that we did, which is the state grant, and we still have one disaster still that's open that hasn't been closed that she's still working on. So there could be a little bit more to this down the road, but right now, her activity has been waning quite a bit. So, but no, I'm going to say that I would not risk paying her from a grant. Now we get money; we get to bill her fees into that grant that we're going to get paid, or not grant, but the FEMA check reimbursement that we get. She gets to actually attribute her fees into that payment that we get. So I'm going to say this is still ongoing, and we still may see one more bill from her based upon the past disasters. Now we still got COVID. We may file a grant. We may file a claim against the COVID impact here with FEMA, but the federal government, as you know, is giving us a lot of money, and they may actually exclude our ability to be able to go back and file a FEMA claim because they're giving us so much money. They may say you cannot file a disaster relief against this. That's still ongoing. We're learning every week something new about that particular money, and we don't want to act too hastily.
Sure.
Commissioner Frazier?
Mayor, I was under the impression that she may have missed a deadline on one of our FEMA reimbursements. Is there anything to that?
Well, there's sometimes there's deadlines, but we can always file post amendments to things that have already missed this deadline. When they're closed out, that's a different story. And so right now, there's 3. We had 4 disasters pending. 3 of them have closed out. So we cannot go back now on those particular disasters.
Thank you.
But I'd like to get her here to talk to us, give us an annual update. Maybe that'd be a good question to say.
Commissioner Hill?
Hi, I know everyone wants to get out here, but I want to make sure that what I hear you saying is what I'm understanding. So basically, like I believe the Shouse LLC does get their fee for the work they do for us directly from the relief funds that they're filing for. We're simply paying her before those funds come in, so then the amount we're paying her will go back into the general fund, correct?
The amount that we bring in is what you're saying, right? When you say that.
Right. What we pay Shouse is supposed to come from whatever money is brought in. We're just paying her ahead of time because it's taking a long time for the money to come in. So when it does come in, we've already paid her.
We will not owe her anything on it.
Okay, that was, I want
And
to
it will
make
be
sure that's
reflected
what I was
on
hearing.
it will be reflected on an invoice. So she'll have the invoice broken down. When we get money, she'll have that invoice broken down as to whether she gets paid for it or not.
Okay, thank you.
What? Roll call, please. Rochelle Hill. Sorry, hang on. There you go. Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Kalia Dye, yes. Norman Frazier.
No.
No. Gary Farr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn.
Yes.
Yes. Tom Patton, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? 13 yes, 1 no, 4 absent.
And next on the agenda is appointing notaries. We have 4: Randy Shannon, Marty Roberts, Haley Townsend, Rolando Bonisco. Okay, we have a motion, but I don't have the figure for my numbers. Okay, roll call please.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Kalia Dye, yes. Norman Frazier, yes. Gary Farr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? 14 yes. Motion carries.
We had a resolution from the school, brought in today, so we need to suspend the rules. Second. Mr. Melton. Brenda.
Okay, so this is the motion to suspend the rules. Voting for that. Motion to suspend the rules.
Rochelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ron Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Kalia Dye, yes. Norman Frazier, yes. Gary Farr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 14 yes.
Right, now to vote on the resolution.
Hold on.
motion to approve the resolution. Commissioner Ferguson and Commissioner Middleton.
Is this new money? Yeah, what's our really criteria on that?
No.
Sorry about that. Okay. Resolution number 17, we're ready for voting whenever you're ready.
Michelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, abstain. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Fraser, yes. Eddie Carr, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn.
You abstain, correct?
I'm voting yes. This is just not presenting myself.
Okay.
Angie Hearn, yes. Don Patton, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 13 yes, 1 abstain.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to
I don't think you have it yet.
Motion to adjourn. Ready to vote?
Wait until are you ready? Okay, ready to vote. Vote to adjourn.
You can be on your own for that.
Michelle Hill, yes. Mike Nunnery, yes. Roseanne Ward, yes. Ronnie Hopper, yes. Mary Powers, yes. Leah Dye, yes. Norman Fraser, yes. Dwayne Fowler, yes. Bill Melton, yes. Angie Hearn. Yes. Don Patton, yes. Dana Ferguson, yes. Kenneth Miller, yes. Anyone wish to change their vote?
If anyone wants to change their vote, you're in trouble.
We're,
You just stay here. That's all I got to say.